Pete notes in a rundown, he goes, I welcome our rivals overpaying for an older running back. You can do it, Howie. You can do it. So that
we'll see what Pete says when he's running for 80 yards down the sideline against the Giants next year. Oh, yeah, baby, that's right. We're here. We're back. We're live. That's right. NFL free agency, right? It's not official, but it's official. They can flirt. They can get contracts done.
Yeah.
It's ready to go. We got action. We got stuff to talk about. Hope everyone's good. Hope you had a good weekend out there. My man Ahmed Fareed is here as always. It is 1 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. We are ready to go. We got lots of stuff to talk about. I mean, really, the weekend was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You talk about a Friday night of, like, I'm sitting there with the fam, got family over, right? Getting the eye from the wife about, like, why are you looking at the phone so intently, right? And I'm like, so I have to explain myself and be like, hey, Geno Smith just got traded, right? And she said, what? Geno Smith? Like, wait, he's the Seahawks quarterback. Yeah, that's right, Seahawks quarterback. So, like, that just kicked it off. And then, of course, from there on out, we had an action-packed weekend.
So, a lot to get into there, and I want to ask you about that. But we're live for the one time we go live.
So,
if you're watching it at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're live.
I love it. I can't swear, people. YouTube's got jurisdiction over this one, so
they hate it more than I do.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's nothing. I'm gonna have to make up some words here, and I'm just gonna have to catch myself. We're gonna see, because like my filter, where I am right now as a human, usually unlocks my brain to go, swearing's allowed, right?
Sure.
And it's not allowed, so hopefully I can make this happen.
Here's the good news, though, is that we almost never edit this podcast anyway. So we bleep out the swears for the video version, but we never. I can think off one hand maybe 3 times we've taken something out, and like one was when a Requiem went a little too far on my end, so I was responsible for one of them.
That is right.
So this is how we normally do.
Well, try to contain yourself today.
We normally do the podcast.
Don't get us canceled on here, all right? Please don't.
We got Sergeant 77 asking the Giants to do something. They have done something right now.
They have done something, and I like it.
Brennan Tauber says Giants signed someone, so the chat knows right now. So this is what we'll.
And what's better is you wanted him. The guy the Giants signed, you wanted him. We
got him.
A
perfect fit for the Lions.
Yeah, eat it, Lions. We got one victory over you this year. That's it.
So this is how the pod will be. We'll just go through all of the signings as they happen in real time. We'll recap the ones that have happened over the last hour. I'm going to ask you right off the bat. This was seen as like a lower, less impressive free agent class, right? I mean, just not that high top end, not a bunch of them.
Right.
We kind of saw that with all the trades that happened, with all the players that have re-signed with their current teams. Did that indicate to you, like, okay, this day, although some of the names going by are pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're impressive.
That's what teams thought of this free agent class?
I think so. I think as a whole, it's not looked as like a wow, splashy, sexy type of class. It's a little bit more depth. Certainly got some answers at certain positions are stronger than others. I also think that's why we saw, maybe more of a wave or a concerted effort over the last week for teams to keep their good players and not let them hit free agency and drive up the price and start, in a bidding war with anybody. We had that conversation a little last week, Connor Rogers and I, just talking about how, like, hey, usually good players don't make it to the market. Really good players, right? It's usually some sort of unforeseen circumstance, unusual circumstance. A guy like Milton Williams, hey, he's really good, but yeah, they got so many good that they can't sign everybody, right?
Yep.
So he's the one I thought we might see here go off the board early with a big contract. Him or Josh Sweat, we don't know.
Could happen during the live taping.
But
of
yeah,
this
it's I think as an overall class, it's not looked at as much as maybe years past where you went, hey, there's 5 or 6 guys where, like, you get him, your team is different, or your defense is different, or whatever, right? I don't know if there's as much as that, but certainly we're seeing some names that we know are going to help a lot of teams out here.
Barry Allen in the live chat says, any drinky, smoky today. We don't do that at work.
We don't do that at work. I don't do that. Only for the barn,
Save
only
it
for the
barn.
draft. I'm an end-of-the-day guy anyways, just so you know. So, yeah, because of the draft, it's a special event. It's kind of a party. I do that. That's kind of like a celebration of I'm done with evaluating all the draft, and now I can just enjoy it and sit back and watch. But no, this is too much work to be done. I need a clear head right off the bat, and I'm a guy that's it's got to get to like 7 p.m. normal on a normal day before I go to smoky land.
Yeah, I want to talk about Paulson Adebo, the guy that I thought the Lions were going to get, but the Giants got. But we do have some news out there. Adam Schefter says about your guy.
I'm trying not to
about your guy Milton Williams.
Okay,
the Carolina Panthers working to finalize a deal with former Eagle defensive tackle Milton Williams.
That's the one I should have said. I threw out a few teams, right? about Milton Williams, I thought maybe New England might get involved just because they have so much money and they need some front seven players. I thought maybe Philadelphia the Arizona Cardinals, because Jonathan Gannon was from Philly, might know him a little bit, but makes sense. I mean, the worst run-stopping team in defense, when we talked to Dave Canales at the Combine, he was like, we were kind of like, hey, support for, your quarterback and all that, and he was kind of like, oddly adamant about, the defense needs help. We got to help the defense out. Right? We got to fill in some pieces with the defense. He was very adamant about that.
Go, Simms, take my hint here.
Right. Take your hint. Seriously, and I should have. They have money to spend. He's really a guy that can play a lot of different positions on the defensive line, right? He can be an interior D lineman, cause havoc, F the play up type of guy, which is a Simms staple, right? You got Derek Brown, who's more the nose tackle type, right? That can hold down the double teams. And then, like I told you, I think earlier last week, Milton Williams is the kind of guy too where if you were all of a sudden you're playing the Ravens and you go, we got to get big, or the Lions and you go, we got to get big this week, he can play strong side DN. And then maybe you bring in another big D tackle and all of a sudden you look at it and go, hey, we got 3 guys on the D line here that are 300 plus pounds, and now we can stand up the Baltimore or Detroit's offensive line, things of that nature. Not shocked. Thought that would be one of the first really big contracts that we see in this process. Him or Josh Sweat, I felt like it was going to be more Milton Williams.
Yeah, don't see the numbers quite yet on that, but it makes sense. I mean, for the Panthers last year it was beefing up the offensive line.
Yes.
And now here's the defensive line.
Now the defensive line.
The big dudes.
They gave a second-round pick to, wide receiver last year, right? And Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. I would think at some point they try to add a little more receiver help to that receiver room there, and Bryce Young and everybody else. But, yeah, the defense is the number one issue. They have a coach there that is special. All right, on the defensive side of the ball. E.J. Evero is one of the best in the game. He's just like a Raheem Morris. It is like really creative. They do a lot of different things on that side of the ball. So good to see them get a little help up front with a guy like Milton Williams. They re-signed Jaycee Horn today,
what our friend Angry Salt Shaker's excited about that. The extension to keep pounding, he says in our live chat here. Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I like that a lot too. And again, with Jaycee Horn, it's been injuries. We know he's had to deal with that, but he certainly proved, at least this year to me, that Jaycee Horn's one of the better corners in football. That's what I take away. It was hard to – I wasn't a huge fan of him coming out. I thought he was a little big, remember? I thought he was a little slow.
It was a huge deal. 4-year extension, $100 million reportedly, $70 million guarantee, and you don't think that's ridiculous?
I thought it was a little high.
Yeah.
Right? But ballpark, I'm not shocked to hear that type of number for him. No, I'm not. Between his size, the way he runs, matching up with big receivers, he showed the ability to play on an island and be able to do that a little bit. He's really good in zone, too. Yeah. Because he's so long, right? He's got good instincts, all of that. He knows how to read coverages, read the plays. That's where he's really good and fits their scheme, too. So from all that, I like what Carolina's doing right now.
Your phone going off there?
No,
text
I'm
message?
wiping it. No, I've turned everything off
Florio?
For the most part. I had it going on earlier. But no, I'm turning it off, too, because I'm also getting requests like, hey, can you come on our show later? Yeah. Can you break our team down? And I can't deal with that right now.
Are they not on the NBC YouTube page right now? We're live.
I should text them and be like, screw you. If you're not going to be on my crap, then I'm not going to be on your crap.
You are also breaking news during this pod on Blue Sky with the help of Matt Casey and Demolitis.
Wow.
And because Twitter has been down, apparently. I'm off it for the last 7 years.
Bad day for that to happen, at least for the NFL people.
Jaycee Horn has missed 29 of 51 games in his first 3 seasons. Did play 15 last season, so maybe turning the corner there. Let's talk about your guy, your corner, Paulson Adebo, going to the Giants. A third-round pick going over to the New Orleans. Oh, no, he was a third-round pick by New Orleans in the 2021 draft. There have been times where you said Paulson Adebo is like top 5 when he's on the field healthy.
Paulson Adebo, I liked them coming out of the draft. And if I remember correctly, he was a guy that didn't play his last year in the draft, right? Or last year in college because of the COVID. He was one of those guys, right, who didn't play. Or Stanford only played 2 games that year. It was something odd, right? But when you broke him down, you went, oh, this guy's got some ability. Quick feet, can run with anybody. He is an island corner. And the reason New Orleans decided to shift away from Marshawn Lattimore and trade him, well, Paulson Adebo had become the guy that they put on the best receiver. He was their go-to man-to-man type of football guy. Now, he had an injury last year, right? And that's certainly going to he broke his femurs, which is serious, right? I mean, that's one that's not he'll be totally fine right away. There's going to be a little bit of a process here that goes through it. But the Giants, who are desperate at corner, need that position badly. Healthy, this guy's the best corner on the market. Healthy, Paulson Adebo is the best Chris Simms in-your-face, man-to-man corner that for me that's out there and capable to be had right now.
That's why I thought the Lions were going to get him. They love that kind of guy. And they had Carlton Davis last year, who was the in-their-face, broke his jaw. Final 3 weeks of the season, didn't play in the playoffs. Carlton Davis has a team reportedly now. New England Patriots to sign Carlton Davis, according to reports.
Yeah, well, that's another. I mean, Mike Vrabel, they're going to play man-to-man. They got their one guy on one side of the ball, we know, as far as Christian Gonzalez. They have a ton of money. They got to improve their roster, right? So it's a good start right there. I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at their total overall, the rest of their group they got. Yeah, they're a little light at that position, overall, when you look at them. Jonathan Jones, he's a free agent, right? They've lost some players there to where, it's kind of a big deal. They needed somebody. Depth and quality, both. Carlton Davis, been a good player for a long time. Your Lions traded for him. He got banged up last year. What did he do? His shoulder, if I remember correctly? It was a jaw. That's what it was, the jaw.
End of the year.
All right, so that makes you feel good, too, that he's there. Jaw, who cares? His legs work.
Extremely painful.
And it is painful, but that's a good one. And now you guys got two guys that you can really trust on the outside to be in man-to-man situations and lock down certain teams if they call for it.
So that's a $60 million deal, apparently, Pete. How many years did they say? What is that? 3 years? $60 million? 3-year, $60 million deal. $34.5 million guaranteed.
Wow.
So price of the Lions, apparently, we're not willing to
have
pay.
Have we heard the number for Paulson Adebo or anything of that yet? Not yet. I'm just interested, too, because back, like, we've seen some numbers here, I think, early on and I don't want to, spoil this, that I am a little surprised by, that are a little high, okay?
Let's do it.
There's definitely, you said one already, and Jaycee Horn.
That was higher than you thought.
I mean, that was a little higher than I thought.
There's more money in the NFL. The cap is higher than it's ever been.
And I'm not going to get mad at a team where it's like they know the guy, they know what he's about, they see his work ethic and all of that, and there's obviously some of that feel in Carolina. But, like, if you came to me earlier today and, like, you're like, hey, Jaycee Horn's going to be we're hearing rumors he's going to be the highest paid corner, like, in the history of football, I would have been like, I don't believe that. No way. I got to see that before I believe that to happen, actually. So, a little expensive, and I was not expecting that.
Danny Minklove in our chat says 3 years, $30 million for Adebo. If that's wrong, Danny, we're never trusting you again. And it's the last comment I'm reading from the chat, because I feel like last year at this time,
we had some people trying to
messing
dupe
with us, right? Which is
did.
Cool and highly entertaining. And
some
kudos
of our
for
homies,
that.
how dare they do that to us?
So Danny Minklove, I guess, is what it is. If you're wrong on that, you've lost our trust.
That's a big signing for as far as though the Carlton Davis signing. The more and more you look at them, you place him, and now Christian Gonzalez, and then Marcus Jones at nickel, who's one of the better nickels in football. I'd go, now you've opened up the vault for Vrabel to kind of call whatever defense he wants, no matter what, because he's going to be able to trust those guys in situations where they're one-on-one with NFL elite receivers. And you play in a division where the Miami Dolphins are there, and it's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Garrett Wilson, right? And you got to deal with Josh Allen and his ability and all the problems he puts you in because of his scrambling and the quarterback design runs. Right? The best way to combat that is hey, we got guys that can play man-to-man, and now we got 8 or 9 guys free to stop all the other crap you do on the offensive side of the ball. That was my first almost swear there. I just caught myself that one.
Robert Spillane, another guy going to the Patriots, 3-year deal. He comes over from the Raiders, started his career in Tennessee, was with Pittsburgh for a while, undrafted.
Yeah, Spillane's a player. He's a 3-down guy. I mean, the thing you're going to like about Spillane, and again, I think where this fits, is he's a really good quarterback of a defense. He's going to have a little bit of familiarity with this scheme already because of coming from the Raiders with Patrick Graham, who was in New England, right? There's some carryover here to what Vrabel does, so there's that aspect of it. And then Spillane is a guy that he can cover. He moves well. They're a team that I think has more thumpers at middle linebacker right now up in New England, not guys maybe that you can trust in covered situations or in space that much. That's where Robert Spillane makes a lot of sense for them. And then you add that to the fact that they got Harold Landry, right?
Yes.
That was another under the radar, like, don't be shocked if, like, we get to the end of December next year and we're like, damn, Harold Landry, He's got 14 sacks. He got 13 and a half sacks. He's still got that left in the tank. And I know they gave him a little bit of money, right? It wasn't huge money. It was the kind of contract where, and maybe Pete can look this up, where I looked at Harold Landry's and I go, I hope they talked to him man-to-man and said, hey, when you get 12 sacks this year, don't come back and ask for a little bit more, okay? Right? But either way, he's in a spot where he knows he's valued. He's got history with Vrabel. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And he went to Boston College, so he's back up there in that area.
3 years, 43 and a half for Harold Landry.
Right. So that's what I mean. He gets 13 sacks this year. He's going to be like, oh, damn, I mean, freaking Myles Garrett made $40 million this year. Like, what? That doesn't make sense, right? But either way, he's in a spot, I think, to really produce and be a team player there.
So Spillane, that's a 3-year deal for $37.5 million. He had 158 tackles last season, tied for third most.
Hey, he's a ball
in the NFL. He's out there. He plays. He's available.
He is, and he's a guy. If you're not the middle linebacker up in Pittsburgh, unless you can go find the ball and just go crazy, and he was the middle linebacker there for a time. Yeah, it's a good deal, and about what I thought it would go for there. Right? It's not top of the market type middle linebacker, but that next group down where you go, yeah, he's really good, but he's not Fred Warner or, our guy that we just saw sign with the Philadelphia Eagles and Zach Bond.
Yes.
Right? He's not quite that, but he's just underneath that.
What'd you think when you heard the news that Javon Kinlaw and the Washington Commanders agreed to a 3-year deal for $45 million, $30 million guaranteed?
Well, this was one of the first ones where I went, what? Like, are you messing with me? That's how much they gave him? I was a little surprised. That would be right up there with the Jaycee Horn one a little bit to go, hey, I understand, like, great athletes that are 315 pounds that can get off the ball and create a little havoc or at a premium, right? But Javon Kinlaw, to his years in San Francisco, what he did with the Jets, I don't think is, at least in my mind, hasn't justified that yet. I don't look at it, but as we're seeing with a lot of these here, it's a little bit about history and knowledge sometimes, okay? And
Adam Peters goes over from San Francisco.
There you go, right? Connect the dots for me.
Was part of the now the GM of the Commanders.
Right. They had coaches with the Jets that were also in San Francisco, so I'm sure he's heard about Kinlaw and everything he needs to know there, right? Dan Quinn runs the similar scheme to what the Jets just ran and, of course, what the 49ers ran. So he's planning on going – he's seeing it going, wait, I like the tools of this guy. I think I can unleash something. And then add that to, hey, he knows our scheme. Jonathan Allen's not here anymore. We're kind of desperate at that position. We need somebody that can cause some havoc and create some plays for us on that side of the ball. So they go with Kinlaw. And again, I'm not going to be mad at that. He's a good player, but am I a little surprised by the amount of money? Yeah, I am a little bit.
Well, it didn't work out in San Francisco because they traded who? DeForest Buckner?
They traded DeForest Buckner. They got Kinlaw him, and then they signed Javon Hargrave, right? Because it just didn't work out. He had a good year with the Jets this year, but I did not think it was going to get $30 million guaranteed type of year.
Did have a career-high 4.5 sacks with the Jets last season. Started all 17 games, so was available.
That was big, right?
Had maybe his best year, even if it was a disappointment from a former 14th overall pick. Staying on the defensive line, B.J. Hill, back with the Bengals, 3-year deal, reportedly $33 million on that deal.
Well, that's like good they kept him. He's still a good football player, and they couldn't stop the run last year.
Right.
And they're void of talent and depth on their defensive line as is. They just lost Sam Hubbard to retirement. Hendrickson's on the trade block, right? Chris Jenkins is a second-year guy that we don't know how good he's going to be yet. So that one was, I think, one where it was like, hey, he's a good player. We got to keep him, right? 3 technique, can do some shade nose, can do a little bit of all of it in the middle of there. So that certainly makes sense. And, for the price they got him, I got no issue with that at all.
Yeah, 3 years. Who would you rather have? B.J. Hill at 3 years, $33 million, or Javon Kinlaw at 3 years, $45 million?
I feel like I'd go with B.J. Hill.
Yeah.
They're a little different, and they're going to ask Kinlaw to be a little bit more of like, hey, get in the gap, create havoc, right? Be that guy. B.J. Hill's a little bit more of the guy that we go, sometimes you go, hey, we want you to hold your ground, or 2-gap. Hold them up and then disengage. We're not looking you to create havoc all the time. So he does a little bit of everything that way. But yeah, I think I would rather have B.J. Hill at that price than I would have Javon Kinlaw.
There's another defensive tackle out there.
Yeah.
Grady Jarrett has been cut by the Falcons, 2-time Pro Bowl selection, turns 32 in April. You never know how much they have left in the tank, right? And you're always a little worried when a guy who's been so successful and a centerpiece of a team's defense for so long. If a team no longer sees him as useful, it could be a cap thing too.
Okay, I think it's cap thing. I think it's cap thing, age thing, right? I think a little bit of that. I think the play going downwards, okay? I think all of those things are really what is leading to this move altogether. Now, I'm just pulling up their roster here and checking it out, right? They have some depth there. Eddie Goldman, they signed him, if you remember him, and he's a free agent, excuse me. They got David Omanyata. I think the biggest thing, and maybe why this will allow them to maybe get rid of Grady Jarrett, price tag, age, yes, dip and play.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if this is where our guy comes into play, Rojo. If he gets into D tackle or D end, or how they view it, either way. Right? They got Zach Harrison, who we both like. Remember the Ohio State kid out of the second round? I think that was 2 drafts ago, right? So do they have some guys coming up the rank? Do they have a few guys that I think are good players? And I don't know, they're going to look to maybe sign somebody else to improve this area? I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be.
Rook Arora was a second-round pick last year out of Clemson.
Right, who I loved. And I don't think a lot of people thought he would be drafted as highly as he was, because he was one of those guys, remember, that really was like a defense end that played nose tackle. He was so good, they were like, hey, we don't have a nose tackle here in Clemson. We'll play him there. And he didn't get to show really what he's all about. But, yeah, I think there's probably a little versatility there as far as what he could do, D tackle, D end. This is Raheem Morris. Again, he's rooted in some usually smaller, athletic-type D tackles, Aaron Donald, Warren Sapp, right? That's where he came from. Guys that create havoc. Those are his defenses. His defenses aren't like we just talked about, like hold the ground. It's kind of like, hey, you shoot that gap, you shoot that gap, and we're going to create havoc, and then hopefully our middle linebacker is just good enough to kind of clean it all up when all's said and done. But, yeah, making moves. And what was Grady Jarrett due to make this year? Do we know that?
Good question.
You know, and Pete, maybe you can look that up, because I know it was a pretty little penny. I want to say it was somewhere around 16, maybe 15, something like that.
$20.3 million cap number. 20.4. Sorry. Pete apologizes for that.
But that's a lot. That's a big number for a guy that is not that type of player anymore. No, he's not.
This is almost happening too fast. Like
we got a lot of crap happening now.
I'm starting to sweat.
It's starting to really pick up.
We've covered
fast?
A lot of ground already.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to start opening up some things here too. See if I can keep up.
My blood pressure is high. I should not have cracked the energy drink. By the way, someone asked what flavor it was. It's a watermelon wave energy drink. Any comments out here? The homies already going crazy.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of the
too
comments.
Much going on.
I can't do it. All right, hey, another deal I really like, just real quick one, small one. Elijah Mitchell to the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right,
just to hit on that.
So it is a 1-year deal,
right?
Reportedly worth up to $3.5 million. So
they haven't needed that position, and Elijah Mitchell, as we've seen, when he is healthy, playing for the 49ers, he's shown the ability to. I know it's the 49ers, and I'm not saying this, but lead the NFL in rushing, be one of the better running backs, right? He's a sledgehammer. He runs hard between the tackles. And for that price tag and a position that is not, all that impressive with the Kansas City Chiefs, Pacheco's the guy, and now you bring in a guy like Elijah Mitchell who runs just like him. I like that combination. That's a good value deal for the Chiefs to help their offense out a little bit.
And while we're talking about running backs, might as well talk about Aaron Jones, right? 2-year, $20 million deal to go back to the Vikings.
$20 million deal. That's right. Really a 1-year deal.
Okay.
He's going to have to earn it to get that second one. I think what did he get? 16 guaranteed, maybe 14 guaranteed, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I think overall, looking at that, the options out there right now, they're a little thin at the running back position. They don't want to commit to him long term because we've seen, hey, he's a smaller guy. He's gotten beat up a little bit. He's missed some time here and there. But he's still dangerous, and you still can get him on the edge or throw a screen and say, watch out, and he could flip field position in a hurry. So from all that, I get what they're doing there in Minnesota. I would think they probably looked at either draft or something else as far as the running back to add to their football team too.
Yeah, and I'd take the money too if you're Aaron Jones, because it's been hard sledding for running backs the past few years. It's apparently a deep running back class.
It's a very deep running back class.
In the draft.
He's at a spot that knows how to use him.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to go and be the bell cow. I'm running the ball 22 times a game. That's not what he is anymore, right? So go to a place where you know you're comfortable, they like you, you have a true niche in the offense, and that coach knows how to use you within that niche, and we know that Kevin O'Connell does. Yeah, I like that. And that's good money for where he's at in his career and what would be available for him.
So Pete poses this question to you. After the Aaron Jones re-signing with the Vikings, who is the best running back on the market? J.K. Dobbins? Javonte Williams? Maybe a guy like Najee Harris? Nick Chubb out there?
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle?
I'm pulling them all up here.
Pull up the teams.
I'm pulling up the teams as
Take a look.
As we go
Kenneth
here.
Gainwell's out there too, I think.
I mean,
are any of them? Yeah, Pete asked
I
a good
don't think
question.
anybody's elite.
None of those guys you don't think are lead guys can. Although that's very rare in the NFL. To their defense, I want to come to their defense because it's fairly rare. Yeah,
but,
lead
but
of
like
a committee.
Najee might be the leader of a committee. Like I don't
not
think
on your team.
Not on my team. That's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
No. Does he have value? Certainly, right? But I don't think I look at anybody here and go, oh yeah, this group, like, watch out. No, J.K. Dobbins I think is a nice second option, but I want to pay him like a starter.
Well, they all have injury concerns.
Exactly
recent
right.
Injuries. J.K. Dobbins, Dowdle too. Chubb, obviously.
Kenneth Gainwell is one of the more, to me, pretty ones out there.
He's held up,
right?
And he's
held up.
catching
He's
out of the
young.
backfield.
Right. He's good. He's really good in the pass game. He does run well. He knows how to pass protect. Again, not going to be your superstar like, oh, my gosh, he's starting for us and we're awesome at running back. But you're going to go, damn, I'm glad we got Kenneth Gainwell as backup or on 3rd and 5 when he comes out of the backfield and runs a great route. He's certainly capable of that and helping out your football team.
Yeah, you're taking a chance. If you really, if you don't have a pressing need for running back, you're taking your chances with a 21-year-old or 22-year-old in the draft this year. I would have to imagine.
I would think so. It looks like it's deep. Like I told you a few weeks ago, when we went through the college season, I was in shock at how many times I would turn something on and go, holy crap, like this team got 2 good running backs, 1 good running back, 3 good running backs. I mean, there's a lot out there right now.
There are comments from Trog Dog that says Gainwell is a number 3 running back. LOL. Jeez, I'd like you to say it to his face.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, he might be a number 3 running back if you want to put him on Detroit or something like that. But no, in most teams, he's going to be a really good number 2. And he was the number 2 for the team that just won the Super Bowl. So I don't understand how you could even say that. He's a good number 2. I'd be happy to have him as my guy there.
LD Force says Rico Dowdle is decent, in my opinion. See, there we go.
He is.
More positive homies.
Well,
decent.
It's decent. But I think that's about as high as you're going there. Again, another guy where you'd go, yeah, would like to have him on my team, but I don't want him as my go-to number 1 running back guy. And he's not going to be a difference maker to where, yes, we give him the ball enough time so where I go, oh man, like we're unreal and we're putting pressure on you because our running back's a home run hitter. No, that's not how I feel there.
Adam's Exploits goes, can someone check Ahmed's blood pressure? I seriously think it might be elevated right now. I'm feeling it's like I kicked a cold last week and so I got a little sniffles too. And
I don't notice it.
So
You're
I'm just
doing
telling
fine.
you that.
You're doing fine.
I might have to take a break. We might have to take a commercial break for the first time in the history of Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
No way, kid.
How about the Buccaneers? They're not taking a break. They've made some moves. Let's get into some of those. They reportedly, this is all reportedly, don't hold our feet to the fire on any of this stuff if it falls through. These are reports. Haason Reddick, the Edge, has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Buccaneers, $14 million, $12 million guaranteed.
It's really good for the Bucs. Right. They need another guy on the edge. Tryon Shoyinka, that never quite worked out. He's a free agent. Of course, we, had Shaquille Barrett and some of the tragedy there, and he left town and had to get out of Tampa Bay, right? So they need a pass rusher. Haason Reddick got the ability to be a top-notch pass rusher. I think the first thing and why I took a deep breath when you said Haason Reddick is just I want to go, who was advising him last year? Why? I mean, I said this from the get-go. I mean, this contract, what he's getting, you're telling me you're happy with this Haason Reddick? I'm just telling you, if you played last year and just didn't do what you did and had a normal year and you probably would have got double-digit sacks, you'd be signing for more than 1 year, $14 million right now. But if you're going to put yourself in a spot to succeed and then capitalize again, I like this. You're across from Yaya Diaby, right? They got Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey. Going to be hard to double team Haason Reddick. He's going to be one-on-one, right? They're going to be, hey, get him on the edge. Just let him pass rush. It's going to be all about that. I don't think he's going to have to play every play of every game. If they go a 4-down front and it's 1st and 2nd down, they probably will have Logan Hall at one DN, Yaya Diaby at the other one, and then the 2 D tackles, right? Passing situations, here comes Haason Reddick. We'll move Logan Hall inside or maybe off the field. I don't know. But that's what I think of with Haason Reddick. I just go, damn, I just don't know why he did what he did last year, but I'm glad he's in a spot. And then, Jason Light down there in Tampa Bay just continues to kill it with the front 7 or the offensive line. People in the trenches. Their O-line's a bunch of ass kickers. I think I could say that on our YouTube page.
We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll see if we're still on. And then their D-line, as we've talked about, it's got big people. It's got F the play-up guys. They really got it all, and that's where Jay Light's a special GM that way.
I mean, Reddick has been in perfect spots. He had 11 or more sacks each of the previous 4 seasons until last year, where he just won in 10 games with the Jets. A little bit of a red flag. This is, 5 teams in 6 seasons for Haason Reddick.
Definitely. And some of that's other teams' fault, but these last 2 are kind of his.
Yeah.
He wanted more in Philadelphia. Who knows what he'd be getting if he just hung in there with them and went to the Super Bowl, and maybe he would have got the sacks that Josh Sweat got and something else, and who knows. But then he
wanted more with the Jets.
He gets out with the Jets. He wants more of it, and they kind of mess up that whole situation. There's, lost in translation that when I got traded, I did want a new contract, and the Jets said they didn't say that. Whatever. It didn't work out. I don't think he was advised the right way, and it's $14 million, $12 million guaranteed, but damn, I just sit here and go, if he got 9 or 10 sacks, it'd be double that, right? I mean, it'd be double in guaranteed money. He'd probably be getting $24 million guaranteed right now.
Speaking of the Bucs, Towley says in our live group chat, I thought the Brady-Godwin connection meant he was going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders with a crying emoji, a Raiders fan in Towley. He stays with the Buccaneers, 3-year deal, $66 million, $44 guaranteed reportedly. Reportedly also left $20 million on the table just to go back to the Buccaneers.
Well, I think they're saying he left that on the table. Like, they're saying he left a big contract on the table, reportedly, now.
Likely with the New England Patriots, people think.
All right. Well, that's interesting, right? I mean, $22 million a year, basically, for a guy that's coming off a dislocated ankle, getting up there in years a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good price tag. There's no doubt. I think if he was totally healthy, would he have gotten a little bit more? Certainly. I'm surprised to hear that Tampa offered him a whole lot more, or maybe we think New England offered him.
Yeah, who knows? It could be one of those. They gave him a 4-year deal for a little bit more guaranteed. Like, I don't know.
I thought the injury would
take it with a grain of salt.
Help the Bucs, right? That would have been my thought coming into the process. The injury is going to help the Bucs because teams are going to go, dislocated ankle, 29 years old, right? Where's he at in this point of his career? We're signing him to a contract that's going to take him into the 30s, right? Now, this is where the team that's had you for a while, they're getting to see your rehab. They know what kind of person you are, what kind of work ethic you are. So they might be willing to spend or give you a few dollars because they know the human being, maybe other than some team that doesn't know that.
Sure.
Right? But maybe that theory is being proven wrong if the Patriots or somebody out there was willing to pay him more money.
Speaking of the Patriots,
here they
updates
go.
Our rundown in real time. One free agent who did not spurn them, the tackle Morgan Moses, the Patriots, 3-year deal, reportedly for $24 million, up to $28.5 if he does some really good things and says nice things about the head coach. We'll give him an extra $4.5 million. But he turned 34 last week.
Well, and tackle's been a little bit of an issue there. They've at times had to play Owenu at tackle, and that's not where he should be. He's a really damn good guard. So now this allows them to, I think, keep their interior part of their O-line where it is, and they don't have to mess with that. And you got a Morgan Moses who really could play either tackle. He's veteran. He's been around. He is good at pass protecting. So it's like another just good value signing, for the Patriots football team, and somebody that's going to definitely help them out fairly quickly there.
A couple other interesting offensive line moves. This one with the Tennessee Titans, which will be a fun team to track because they hold the whole draft. They get the number 1 pick, right? Are they going quarterback?
Yes.
They go on edge. Will we get some signs by what they do here today or tomorrow or later this week? Well, they want to beef up their offensive line. They got Dan Moore, the Titans, a 4-year deal, reportedly $82 million with $50 million guaranteed. That will reportedly bump Jaycee Latham, who you liked a lot last year.
They're going to move him to guard.
Moved him to guard. Okay.
Are they going to do that? Is that what they're saying?
It says Pete says in a rundown to right tackle.
Right tackle? They're going to move to right tackle. Okay. I wasn't sure where that would go. Okay. I like that either way. Latham, as we know, played right tackle in college.
Yeah.
Right? He's a little bit more viewed as that. I thought, he'd have the ability to be left tackle and be elite at that. But he's big. He's a road grader. Traditionally, he is more of a right tackle. I think if you look at him, look at his game and what he's all about.
Could be more comfortable.
I thought maybe you were going to tell me they moved him into guard or something like that.
Hey,
but
who knows?
Hey, Dan Moore.
So Dan Moore, former 4th-round pick, 2021 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Started all 17 games last year. In fact, this started all 66 games of his career. Just missed a couple of games.
He's good. He's really good. Is that a price that maybe surprised me a little higher than I would have thought too? Yeah, okay, it is. There's no doubt. But no doubt, like starting left tackle in the NFL, you're desperate for that position. And like where I sit here in a situation like that, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, Brian Callahan, his dad is one of the best offensive line coaches in the history of football. He's one of those, when I see him do something, I go, oh, maybe that guy's better than I thought, right?
Yeah.
That's like automatically, because I trust him to that capacity. So obviously he sees something in him that he feels like is going to help out that Titans football team.
To that point, though, I would think they would go with the opposite strategy. Take a little lower guy, not pay him as much, because your dad can coach him up and give you some offensive. But his dad's like, no, give me all the toys.
Well, I think with the team that they're looking at going, it's uncertain at quarterback. We might be able to rookie. We're not sure. We got to be able to run the ball. We got to be able to do stuff like that. It's a big year that way. I think that's probably what they're looking at it through that type of lens. Looking at the rest of their football team there, you start to look at it and go, wow, they put Latham at right tackle. Now they got Moore at left tackle. Yep. Skoronski's inside. Lloyd Kishenberry's a pretty damn good center, right? That's got the capabilities of looking at it and going, that could be special. And Tony Pollard looked damn good last year, to where you go between that and the coaching, right? Tajay Spears behind him, right? All that type of stuff there, you start to go, hey, they might be a force on the run of the football. Yeah. And what a better way to help out a young quarterback if they do decide to go Cam Ward at number 1. Yeah. To have a little running back, he's protected. All of those things, of course, make a rookie quarterback's life a lot easier.
What do you think? Just your gauge right now, and obviously it's going to play out.
Yeah.
We're going to go back and forth, and if they're going to trade it, I feel like their desire, from everything you hear out there, they want to get more picks. They would like to trade that number 1 pick, because I don't think they think they're all that close. But if you got Cam Ward, and if you really like him, and now you got a beefed up offensive line, you got some weapons around him.
I said Cam Ward is worthy of the number 1 pick. Cam Ward, my quarterback rankings come out next week. Cam Ward will be 1. All right, we're just unveiling that. That's not a question.
Yeah,
that's so obvious. He's the guy. He'll fit in any offense. He'll fit in that offense. He could do that. I think he's a pretty damn good player. I would tell you that from what I've seen and what I've studied, he'd be in the mix with the top guys in last year's draft. I've heard some people say that, like, oh, this class Cam Ward would be right in there with. I'm not saying I'd take him over Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, but he'd have been in that conversation. I like Bo Nix a lot at number 3 as my 3rd quarterback.
Yeah.
I'd put Cam Ward over Bo Nix.
Wow.
Okay? That's what I would say. I know I was wrong about Drake May. I'm just talking about where I had them ranked right last year for the draft. Cam Ward would be in the mix for the top 3 guys in last year's draft class for my money. Again, I don't know what's not to like. He throws lasers. He's accurate as hell. When there's nothing there, he makes stuff happen. He sees the field really well. He's patient in the pocket. Like, Cam Ward's a baller. Like, and to me, and I know we're going to get this in a minute, that to me was the big thing about the Raiders trading for Geno Smith. was that the first thing that went to my mind was, oh, Brady doesn't like any of the quarterbacks not named Cam Ward at 6. He's not willing to do that. He's not. So he's going, wait, I know this guy is pretty good. Let's let him hold the fort down until I find my guy, right? That to me was kind of the biggest news of the weekend in that trade right there.
Raiders can just wait to get Shedeur when he falls into the 3rd round this year after all these reports.
I don't think he'll fall that far. No,
there are some mock drafts that have him out of the 1st round now.
I
think PFF was one of them.
And I don't like the slander on Shedeur Sanders, and he's got a lot of qualities to like. And I've seen I want to swear really bad right now. I've seen a whole lot of other crappier quarterbacks drafted in the 1st round worse than Shedeur Sanders, where I would have gone, really? We're going to draft him in the 1st round, but we're going to get on Shedeur now. Oh, okay. Right? I mean, he's got qualities about him over Kenny Pickett that I would take about him any day of the week. And you know I wasn't a fan of Kenny Pickett coming out. Yeah. And I can list off a bunch of other quarterbacks through time where I'd go, that guy got drafted in the 1st round. If he can get drafted in the 1st round, so can Shedeur Sanders. You're crazy.
I know, you also know how coaches are, right? And who knows exactly? Like, I think about this with, we got to have an opinion on everything. And that report comes out about Shedeur Sanders. We're like, come on. Head coach has got to, this is just a confident young man. Like, if you were there in the room, you'd have an opinion either way. Maybe you're like, oh, yeah, Shedeur did take that a little too far. He was acting a little bit like a brat there. Or it was the other way where you're like, man, this head coach used to be in power all the time, just couldn't take a guy who was very confident in himself. So I don't want to judge too harshly there, but there's enough coaches out there who are a little intimidated or turned off
100%.
Shedeur Sanders.
And that's where I don't think it all goes to Shedeur.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a lot of coaches that are intimidated just because of, the Sanders. We're going to have to hear Dion probably comment about your football team.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of coaches that feel like, well, he's not going to blame his son, so he's going to end up blaming us, right? And there's going to be people that don't want to deal with that. And here you go. We got a little news for you.
Some corners going off the board, including one to my Detroit Lions.
He's so Detroit. He is so Detroit.
DJ Reed and the Lions agreed to a 3-year deal reportedly worth $48 million.
Damn, that's like he's a great fit for you guys. It's more attitude you got there. I mean, between him, Brian Branch, even Terrion Arnold, right? These are guys this is a football player right here. This is what I like about DJ Reed. Yeah, he can play man-to-man, but he's good in zone. He tackles. He adds attitude to your football team. Certainly thought he'd be one of the first corners off the board here on day one, and you got a good one there.
So started his career with the 49ers, was a former 5th-round pick out of Kansas State, spent 2 with Seattle, last 3 with the Jets. You like that better than Paulson Adebo?
I like Paulson Adebo's coverage ability better. I like DJ Reed's everything else better, okay? DJ Reed's a kamikaze. He's the kind of dude that you like me, where I just go, I got a man crush. He's like, he has no regard for his body. He's in your face all the time. He backs down from nothing. Right? And that seems like the Lion way, right?
I mean, that's exactly Brian Branch.
Exactly. That's where I'm shocked a little bit, because I'm going, Aaron Glenn let him out of the building? Right, that's where I'm a little surprised. But they're probably looking at that money, and like we've talked about, they got to pay Sauce Gardner. That's on there. They're probably going, we can't pay $100 million worth of corners this year, and they got to cut the fat and trim the fat somewhere, and they decided to do it here.
Man, this is a rush of corner news happening right now.
Wow,
we got
these are good ones too.
Report out there that Jourdan Lewis and the Jaguars have agreed to a 3-year deal, $30 million with $20 million guaranteed, makes him the NFL's highest paid nickel corner.
Wow, and that makes him higher paid than DeAndre Lemonor out in Deommodore. I always mess his name up. But that makes him more. I know his contract had bigger numbers, but I was surprised to hear that made him more highly paid. But either way,
maybe Lenore's like, I ain't a nickel corner. I don't know.
Yeah,
don't call me a nickel.
Yeah, Lenore was 5 years, $92 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't call me a corner. That's what he said.
Which is bigger.
Part of the deal. It was part of the deal. You don't call him a corner or a nickel
which
corner.
is bigger than 3 years, $30 million. And I swear, I mean, he plays nickel. That's what he is.
Okay,
that's
sorry.
How it's just but
reportedly makes him the NFL's highest paid nickel corner.
Well, I'm just challenging that right off the bat. But I do like this signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
We were talking about this a little bit before we got on air here. I mean, Jourdan Lewis is one of the best nickel corners in the game. He is. He can cover with the best of them. And this is a team in Jacksonville that we know was crappy in covers last year. Crappy in just about everything last year as far as the defensive side of the ball is concerned. But now you got a little speed at safety, which I kind of like that group. I like Tyson Campbell across from him. And now you add Jourdan Lewis to the nickel back room there. Yeah, they got a little talent there. Certainly, definitely. Now the next thing with Jacksonville specifically is they got to worry about D tackle and some of those positions. That's the thing that worries me about them. But definitely an improvement to their football team.
Marked for Death says DJ Reed to the Lions. Let's go. Southwest Hollerita goes go Lions. Lions King. There we go. We got some Detroit fans in the live chat on YouTube here today on Free Agency Day, and we have one more nugget. This from VM that says Isaiah Rodgers to the Vikings, and that is true. 2-year deal, reportedly worth $15 million, $8 million guaranteed.
I really thought that Philadelphia might find a way to get him back. I know you heard me say that, I think, last Monday in one of our things there, where I thought this would be a guy that they looked at and go, yeah, we got no more Darius Slay. Bradbury's gone. I know we got the 2 rookies, but I thought they'd be able to get him for value signing. I'm not shocked by this. Again, they need cover corners in Minnesota. Rodgers is the type of guy that can play man-to-man. Rodgers is one of those, he's the low 4-3 guy. He can fly. He can run with the best of them. There's a need there, and Brian Flores, as we know, in his heart of hearts, wants to play more man-to-man than he's been able to play in Minnesota because they just don't have those guys there. He's had to trick it up so many different ways. We've broken that down a lot here either way. But that's another one where Isaiah Rodgers is a better quality player than $15 million or $8 million guaranteed. He had the gambling thing. He missed time in football with the Colts because of that, right? He didn't get to start last year, but when he did play, he got to show that he could still play and cover and can run with elite receivers in football. So that is a very good value signing by the Minnesota Vikings. They're getting a guy really where if all systems go, he has a good offseason. They're going to go, we got a $20 million a year corner here that we're paying $8 million, right? And that's phenomenal.
Totally. It seems like, now I would say, though, it seems like also teams, Howie Roseman's now like the god of all NFL GMs, and if they don't see the value in 2 years, $15 million with a guy like Isaiah Rodgers, and teams run into cap issues like you mentioned,
that's what I
too.
mean. They have so many, and they have so
can't
many.
do it all.
They can't do it all. Exactly right.
But maybe could have squeezed this in.
Right.
But they also got a couple of young guys,
they might be looking at, they might be going, wait, we want to keep Josh Sweat. We're trying to keep him here now, right? So they're going, we can't waste that other $7 million on Isaiah Rodgers. Or maybe they're going to make a play for Milton Williams. I don't really think so, but maybe they do have their eggs in another basket now.
I'm glad you brought up Milton Williams, because at the top of this show we said that the Carolina Panthers were close to getting Milton Williams, and I think we credited that to Adam Schefter, which we don't credit who breaks the story unless it turns out to be maybe not right. So that's just going to be the way this podcast goes. Conflicting reports out there. First it was he was close with the Panthers. Now maybe Cardinals, Vikings.
I told you the
also
Cardinals are going to get involved. I knew the Cardinals were going to get involved. The Cardinals need blue chip front seven players. We've broken that down here a lot, right? We love the guy that they drafted out of Missouri last year at the end of the first round. I mean, I think he's going to be a really damn good football player.
Yeah.
But as we've talked about a lot with them in general, they're one of those teams where if you asked, John on the street, who's a front seven player for the Arizona Cardinals, most people have no freaking clue who that is or who could help them out that way. So they are in desperate need of this. And, again, Jonathan Gannon, not only from Philadelphia, but Monty Ossenford from New England being there. They love these versatile defensive linemen, like we talked about earlier, that can kind of just play. They can basically play two different positions on the defensive line according to who you're playing that week. And there's great value in that.
By the way, too, Pete has noted here, and this is very important. I'm glad he put this in here.
Yeah.
The Lions now, with the signing eventually of DJ Reed, have DJ Reed and DJ Reader.
Oh, you're right. Damn. Yeah.
And Ben Solak on Twitter says, or maybe this is actually Blue Sky. That is Blue Sky. Wow. It looks actually pretty close to Twitter, too. I wonder where they got that style.
That's funny.
He was frantically searching for DJ Reed. DJ Reed, DJ Reader, DJ Reed, yes. That's very good. Well done.
One's got to be a reader of the offensive line. The other one's got to read the pass concepts down the football field and figure that out. But this is awesome that we're getting a little bit of a bidding war, it sounds like, between the Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals.
For Milton Williams.
Milton Williams. And, of course, Minnesota, if they get in that too, they certainly could use a difference-making interior defensive lineman. They get that. You start to go, damn, Isaiah Rodgers. Damn, they got some pass rushers there up in Minnesota. And then you go, damn, they got somebody inside now that start create some issues there. Watch out. I mean, those are some key pieces that Brian Flores would be able to play with.
All right, we are monitoring the breaking news as it happens. Maybe this will be all finished by the time we're done. I think this happened to us last year where we were about like an hour and 45. We're like, all right, we got to stop at some point. And then some huge news happened.
And then we literally were in the car. I remember driving away, and it was one more big contract hit. And we were like, oh, of course that happened now.
It'll happen again. It'll happen again. All right, let's go back to the offensive line here.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about Dan Moore going to the Titans.
Yep, good sign by them.
Pete wants to know if this now makes the Ronnie Stanley deal look even better. He re-signed with the Ravens, 3-year deal for $60 million with $44 guaranteed, and Moore was 4 years, $82 million with $50 million guaranteed.
4 years, $50 million guaranteed. Of course, doesn't have an injury history and is in the prime of his career. Mm-hmm. So that's what you're paying for a little bit with Dan Moore, right? Yeah. He's all of those things are positive. Ronnie Stanley, at his best, is one of the best tackles in football, but getting up there in age and has had quite the injury history here as of late, right? So I think that's maybe why there's more of a commitment to Dan Moore. Really, Ronnie Stanley's contract's a 2-year, $44 million deal. He's going to have to earn that last one, stay healthy to get it. That's what he's going to have to get. Mm-hmm. They found the right balance of respecting him, paying him like he's one of the better offensive linemen in football. I'm sure didn't want to leave and hold their feet to the fire for every last dollar and go somewhere else. He knows he's a part of a football team that could win the Super Bowl next year. They were probably the best team in football the last 2 years and just didn't get it done. So with all of that, I like it for Ronnie Stanley. I like it for the Ravens. It makes sense. I wasn't surprised to hear he was coming back there. I was not shocked by that.
Last year was the first time that he has played every game in his 9 NFL seasons, so hopefully he can keep that trend going. The Bears have beefed up that offensive line for Caleb Williams. A couple trades coming into free agency day, and now they got Drew Dalman.
Damn.
And the Bears, a 3-year deal as a former 4th-round pick, which I like it. A lot of these big money guys are like 4th-round, 5th-round picks here. Get your money, guys.
Definitely.
3-year deal, former 4th-round pick by Atlanta in 2021. Here's the new line. It was a 4-year, $42 million deal, or 3-year, $42 million deal, $28 million guaranteed. So now you got, Braxton Jones at left tackle, Darnell Wright at right tackle. You got those staples, and you filled in with Drew Dalman, Joe Thuney, and Jonah Jackson this offseason.
This is quite the turnaround in 1 week. I mean, that's all you can say. I mean, they're set. They don't have to worry about anything. Nothing. O-line done. Braxton Jones has exceeded expectations. He's played well at left tackle. He's earned the right to be that guy there. Tevin Jenkins at right tackle. He's perfect for that. Big road grader type, right? That can do that. But I think, or Darnell Wright, excuse me. I said Tevin Jenkins. Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. So they got that. Like your traditional run blocking right tackle, let alone he does well in pass blocking. But then you got it's 3 interior guys now to where Caleb Williams, who's not the biggest, is going to have space, as we know. He does like to hold the ball at times. I don't think that Ben Johnson's going to be able to totally get that out of him, right? He's going to work on that. But he's also going to look at some of those plays where he kept the ball in his hands a lot of times and go, that was pretty good. I don't want you to lose all of that. That was magical.
I don't think he does. I mean, he said that in a press conference where he's like, it's going to be fun to have
blend. He's got to find that blend. And two, where Caleb Williams and where to me that makes sense is, smaller quarterback. We want to run the ball. We like that. It's going to open up play action. We know Ben Johnson's a master at that. And he has a little bit of the Mahomes where if you keep the guys in his face at bay, there's usually lanes on the edge, right? And you don't need – we all know you need some tackles, even Mahomes, as we saw in the Super Bowl. But it doesn't always have to be like the best left tackle in football. Now he can see people are not in his face, and, I'm back here. I'm deep in the pocket, 7-8 yards deep. We're good up front. And now there's a little alley because, of course, the pass rushers are flying upfield. And if I need to sneak out to the right or to the left, I can go between my guard and tackle and find a way there. Mm-hmm. And he's, of course, is amazing at avoiding people. But, damn, what a turnaround to the offensive line. Way to make moves. And Drew Dalman is a freaking player, and one of the reasons that Atlanta team was so good at running the football the last few years with Bijan Robinson at running back. Run game is really his thing. That's where he is special. is run blocking for Drew Dalman.
And that's what Ben Johnson will want to do. Is what he did with the Lions and will want to do with the Bears.
Jonah Jackson, right? He had him in Detroit, so he knows what he's made of. He's a road grader. Tooney's a little more in pass protection, but still such a damn good guard. You get him. He's really known for his pass protecting ability, but he's no slouch in the run game.
A quarterback has found a team. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Is going to the Rams, re-signs on a one-year deal, reportedly up to $11 million.
Great job by them, of course. Protect your football team. The Rams can win the Super Bowl this year. You don't want to risk it on, we don't even get to the playoffs because Matt Stafford was hurt for 4 weeks and we lost 4 games in a row with Johnny I don't give a damn at backup quarterback, right? And I don't want to do that. It's a great insurance policy. Watch out for the Rams. We're here, Davante Adams. Let's talk about that too. That's phenomenal. Yes. I mean, that tells you everything. Davante Adams is the perfect number 2 to Puka Nacua. Perfect. He's got a similar skill set. And that's where I think the genius of McVay and what we saw like 2 years ago when Puka and Cooper Kupp were working, both playing at a pretty high level, you don't know what to expect with what. They stack them up next to each other. This guy might be running the cross route. This guy's running the option route. But it's a similar skill set to where you can never get a tell on the offense and go, they lined him up here, so this means they're probably going to go to these type of plays. No, there's no tell there with those two guys. And Adams is a guy that can still win on the outside. He's going to be awesome in the slot. Him next to Puka Nacua stacked up. One guy's running the post, one guy's running the corner route. One guy's running the in-cut, one guy's running the option route underneath it, reading the coverage. It's going to be really damn good like that. I thought that was big news. The Rams are damn good. And I wouldn't think the Rams are done making a move or two here, before all the offseason's over.
It's so funny how quickly they can turn it around, right? They're a team that's up against it, the cap. They're spending a lot of money on guys.
They
screw those picks. They don't need the picks. Now they have the picks. They drafted a elite defense. It's all young, and you can spend $46 million, $26 guaranteed on a 2-year deal for Davante Adams.
That's it. And I think, too, what does that tell you? It shows you, too, they like Davante Adams. It shows you they think he's significantly better than Cooper Kupp is at this point of his career, right? I think that's the other thing too, and that's where I'll be interested to see what happens with Cooper Kupp. Again, Cooper Kupp is a damn good player. I know he's still got some gas in the tank, but is he going to be like? Most teams are going to look at Cooper Kupp and go, well, we don't want him to be our number 2, right? Maybe our number 2 in certain situations or whatever, but we really want him to be a 2/3 in the perfect world. 1, he's had injuries too. He's getting up there in age. He doesn't separate quite like he used to.
Yeah.
The perfect world would be, hey, we got 2 guys on the outside and Cooper Kupp can work the middle of the football field, right? That's where he'll be special. I know he's going to get a little jolt of energy in his career because he's changing teams and all of that. So hopefully we see that. But I think the Rams are telling you a lot by the fact that they paid, Davante Adams $26 million and they're just letting Cooper Kupp go.
If we did have the chip ranking, I think he'd be number 1 with a guy with a chip on his shoulder going into next year.
Yeah.
You hear him talk in interviews, and he's fairly confident that he can still play.
Yeah.
He's upset the way it's ending with the Rams right now.
I'm sure he is. And again, I don't think he's going to get $25 million from anybody, anything like that. But high teens, 17, 16, I think that's right. Now, where is that? I don't know. Would he want to go to a team like Pittsburgh if they get Aaron Rodgers and they got George Pickens and DK Metcalf on the outside and now he can work the slot? That's how you want him, right? You want him to be that guy in there. He's not the guy you want outside going, hey, it's 3rd and 7 and he's got to beat the best corner in football right now on a tough route, right? That's not what you want from Cooper Kupp anymore.
Speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we've been able to do that quite a bit on this podcast.
Have.
This is
Speaking
working together
of that, we've been able to do that a lot.
They got the wide receiver in DK Metcalf. It was for a 2nd-round pick. Metcalf going to sign a 5-year, $150 million contract with the Steelers now. $33 million in new money average makes it the largest deal in franchise history. So, these teams, and Steelers seem like we pay our own guys kind of team.
They are usually.
They paid one of those guys this time.
This is a big move for them. Big move. Don't usually see this. They're a team that I think I would have put into some drastic things got to be done, or are we just going to get into the wild card round and lose every year, right? They've been able to kind of piece it together, put a Band-Aid here, put a Band-Aid there, a little Neosporin. Hey, we're a playoff team, but never had quite the players here, at least in recent history, where I sit here and go, oh, yeah, watch out. They're truly a Super Bowl contender. We felt better about them last year, as a football team overall, right? I think
you were like, I'm excited to see them in the playoffs.
They might not lose in game 1 this year.
And then as we got close to the playoffs,
it kind of started to get a little bit like,
I'm
not as excited. Right. Early December, late November, I was like, the Steelers, I'm excited this year. End of the month, I was kind of like, it's kind of looking like it's one and done. But at least I wasn't like I didn't want to see them. At least it didn't get to that point.
Yeah.
But this is big. They're desperate at that position. Okay, DK Metcalf is one of those few guys in football that you just go, he can score from anywhere, anytime. He's a difference maker. He changes the way defenses have to play the football game. I think he was not happy in the fact that he had to share touches with people in Seattle and other receivers, didn't get the touches he deserved. I don't think they formulated the offense around him quite to the capacity they should of a number 1 superstar receiver, right? Geno Smith, what's the future of the organization? Where are they going? All of that, because they're kind of in a rebuilding on the fly mode up in Seattle right now.
Pretty clearly now.
Right,
yes.
so he didn't want to be a part of that. Now he goes to a place here where, they need him. They're paying him like, hey, we're going to have to orchestrate the offense around you, and we'll see where they go from here. But, that's a big move right there. You can't just be in the AFC North and go, we're going to play defense and run the ball, and our special teams will make a play. And no, it's Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Right? I mean, you're not going to win every game in a defensive struggle in that division. You need to have some firepower, so they got that done.
And why would you say it that way anyway, right? If you even believed that. It's a bad way to say it. Anthony Blakely says, who is going to throw the ball for the Steelers, though? That is the $1 million question. Break the news right here on the live stream.
I feel like it's Aaron Rodgers pointing that way. I almost feel like that move was made in like, hey, we got a chance for Aaron Rodgers, but he's not going to come here unless we make like a drastic change or move, or we need to do something to make him want to come here. And like almost with that thinking, let alone like they go, wait, this is not only for now. We're not sure we want to pay George Pickens going in the future. He's been a knucklehead. And this is a good move. DK Metcalf is all in on football. He's in shape. He trains. This is a move not only that can maybe attract Aaron Rodgers, but even after Aaron Rodgers, for whatever young quarterback we have, DK Metcalf should still be here and be able to help that guy out. So it's almost like it kills 2 birds with 1 stone that way. And that's where I like it. But, it would make sense. Out of the options Aaron Rodgers has, didn't know if Pittsburgh was going to become a real thing. I'll give Florio credit. Florio's been calling Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh since, like, the end of the year. He's been saying it. He's been saying it makes sense and all that. And now it sounds like maybe Justin Fields is being flirted with a little more aggressively by the Jets and maybe some other teams. They're turning and looking at Aaron Rodgers. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers out of the teams that are available, Pittsburgh's definitely one of the more appealing ones out there.
So let's look at do we have the updated highest paid wide receivers graphic? Because where does that put DK Metcalf on the list?
There it is.
That puts him 3rd now behind Justin Jefferson, number 1, $35 million, 34 for CD, 33 for DK Metcalf. It's funny how the agents just do that.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, well, we'll slot him in there at 3.
Yes.
Can we do 2? No, 1, 3.
Well, and then
A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. And he will be 4th here very shortly. As soon as Jamar Chase signs, he will get knocked down to 4th because Jamar Chase will be at the top of that list.
Yeah.
But
why don't they just give him the $36 million deal right now to Jamar Chase?
That's just pretty strong. Jamar Chase is probably going to get $40 million. I think Jamar Chase is going to
It breaks the whole system they got going here.
He's going to crush the market, just like Nick Bosa did, and now Myles Garrett is doing a defensive end. It's going to be the same way here. But, hey, for a guy like DK Metcalf, $33 million, and you know me, I like to pick apart where they are on the pay chain and all that. I think he's exactly where he should be.
Wow.
All right? I would tell you, I think A.J. Brown's better than DK Metcalf. But it's not by a whole lot. And, I'm certainly not mad that DK is getting a little bit more, okay? I'm not going to sit here and be mad at that.
So then he would not be exactly where he should be.
No, he should be. That would be the one where I go, but he was in the mix.
He's exactly where he should be.
The group he
just
should be.
Just behind that other guy.
That's exactly where he should be. You're right.
Yeah, all right, so good for them. We'll see who's throwing on the ball. Maybe it is Aaron Rodgers. We do know who's throwing the ball over there with the Raiders, Geno Smith. You've talked about it a little bit here. 3rd-round pick. Seattle, they're rebuilding. They got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds now. So what do you think about this? Raiders got their quarterback now. Pete Carroll goes there. It's not you got Pete Carroll. You're like, it's not a 5-year deal.
Well, exactly.
Pete Carroll's like, let's go try to win now.
He doesn't want a rookie. He doesn't want a rookie. So he's looking at that, going, damn, I mean, yeah, I might only be here for 2 years. I don't want to be like, oh, it's the end of year 2 and my quarterback's just getting it now. He's just starting to play at a high level, right? He doesn't want that. He knows Geno. He knows what he's about. Damn, I mean, he got rid of Russell Wilson for Geno. He likes Geno. And as we always know, teams want people that can enhance their culture, be a liaison in the locker room, right? Hey, when Pete does this, he really means this. He can hold it. That's what the great thing, especially at the quarterback position, right?
Yells at a guy. Huge deal.
It is. It's a huge day. One yells at a guy one day. He can be there and go, "Hey, he's yelling at you because he likes you," right? Those are the kind of you need those kind of guys in the locker room to help bridge the gaps, bridge the lesson that's being taught that day, right? There's certainly value in that. So I love that. Let alone he can still play. You know, I hold him in high regard. He can throw it. He can spin it. He's a good athlete. He's tough, and I like it for the Raiders, too, because I think Tom Brady's looking at it going, I don't know if I like any of these quarterbacks not named Cam Ward at number 6, as I mentioned earlier before. So this buys time for one to either we can kick the can down the road a year or two until we find the quarterback, or maybe they just, hey, we just don't want the pressure of having to take a quarterback at number 6. Maybe we'll get one in the second round. Yeah. It gives them some versatility and takes the main pressure off, which is to go, hey, we got our quarterback. We don't have to worry about that. Now we can start to, hey, number 6 pick, what do we want to do there? Do we need a receiver? Do we want to do something else? What is it we want to do, right, to make our football team better instead of going, well, that's number 6 pick and we still don't have our quarterback. What do we want to do, right? That's a whole different ballgame. So, I liked it from both sides. That's what I will say. Rare trade that I like for both sides. Because the Seahawks, on their hand, I go, he's not the long-term answer. It's a new coach. It's a new regime there. I'm sure he wants his own canvas and blank canvas and nucleus to form that he can say, this is my culture, right? Not some of Pete Carroll's leftover culture, DK Metcalf and Geno Smith, right?
Totally.
So I think with all that, they're looking at it and going, okay, we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. So let's maybe just take a step back to just get everything organized the right way. So for 2026, we can really be in a spot to go, watch out. We can go for the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, that division's interesting now because it was one of the tougher ones in football. Now you look at the Seahawks maybe taking a step back, the 49ers possibly taking a step back.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to start to look at it. If I had to think of Mike McDonald's, he's going to start to go, wait, one, I'm from Baltimore and Michigan, and defense is important. We're going to be a defensive team. Yeah. The other thing that we've joked about with Seattle ever since we've worked together is their offensive line. Every year we talk about their own line. Every year. Can they open a hole for Kenneth Walker? Could they protect Russell Wilson? Could they protect Geno Smith? That's what we've talked about. And I would think Mike McDonald coming from Baltimore where he just saw ass kickers all the time up front, he's going, I kind of like that. I like when you can just say we're going to run it and you can run it for 5 up the middle. I'd like to do that. So now they can, worry about that and maybe get to the style and culture of a football team that he really envisions there.
Ultra Ego Lee wants to know in our live chat, anybody here, any Cowboy-related news? Yeah, what's going on here?
No, you guys lost a player, as usual, right? Jourdan Lewis, you lost him.
They got Odigizua, right?
They
signed him a while ago.
That was good, right? That was under the class
tackle.
of with good players. We can't let everybody hit the free agent market. He's too good, and there's going to be a market for him. So let's get him signed up.
So they did that in the past. They should still get credit for that.
Definitely, yep. But
nothing today.
Nothing today. I don't know what's going to happen there. The Micah Parsons situation, of course, is just absolutely hovering over their head right now.
Mitch Golditch on Blue Sky says Twitter and Jerry Jones and the handshake emoji both not planning to be active during free agency.
No, but the other thing too is just with the Max Crosby, Myles Garrett contract, Micah Parsons' number continues to go up. Continues.
Oh, right? Yeah. So, I mean, $40 million is the number for Garrett.
Myles Garrett, right? And he's going to get more. He's going to get more, or he's got to get equal to. But, I mean, again, what we just talked about a minute ago, why Dan Moore maybe gets an extra year and a little bit more of a contract is because he's in the prime of his career. Micah's in the prime of his career. Myles Garrett, still awesome, but we're not going upwards anymore, right? We're either plateauing or going to start going downhill a little bit.
You know a guy who used to be one of the best edge in the game? Khalil Mack, back with the Chargers.
The Mack attack.
1-year deal, reportedly $18 million, fully guaranteed. Got the NBA Major League Baseball contract.
Good. He played good last year. He's still a damn good player. So they got rid of Joey Bosa. They need somebody as far as a pass rusher. I wasn't surprised. Mac would have been the guy. I would have gone, I could see him re-signing here. Getting up there in age, so they don't want to commit to him long term. Mm-hmm. So they give him a pretty little payday there. Let him do his thing. But still can rush the passer, still plays the run well. I think Jim Harbaugh probably looks at Khalil Mack and goes, I like this guy a lot. He's my kind of guy. There's no nonsense. There's no BS. He just shows up to work every day, lunch pail,
sure.
Right? So that's what you love about Khalil Mack.
We got some breaking news out there. Safety Trayvon Moehrig.
There it
is.
The
Panthers,
Carolina.
3-year deal for a reported $51 million.
Yeah, well, he's real good in coverage. He's all over the field in that standpoint. Again, another long, moves really well, secondary player for E.J. Evero and what he has to offer in that secondary. All right, so I like that. And again, they're not a team it's not about man-to-man. They want people to read coverages and, long arms and, hey, there's a window here to throw the ball. Whoa, that closed quickly. I can't throw that ball right there, right? That's kind of how they play. And he certainly will fit that. So if they can add Milton Williams, which I don't know if we can add him yet. I see on some, depth charts he's already on.
Wait, who? Milton
Williams is on Carolina.
So we have news on that. Are you ready?
Here it comes.
So the top of our podcast?
Yes.
Incorrect. Just throw it out. We were inaccurate because things have changed.
Arizona came in.
Milton Williams has agreed to a deal with the New England Patriots. Oh,
I was right. I said it today. I said it when I left Pro Football Talk with Florio today. I said Milton Williams, I thought he would be the first big, huge contract that happened today, right? I thought that would be the one.
Well, it was, and then he was one of the later ones, too. He got 2 contracts.
It became a bidding war for him.
Yeah.
As there's no elite D tackles. He's the most elite guy, right? He's a special football player, and those were teams that needed him. I thought it would be Arizona or New England.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, Vrabel, right, they need a guy in here. They just traded Godshaw, yesterday to the New Orleans Saints. So here's a guy that can do a lot of different things on the interior part of that, and there it is.
Reportedly $26 million a year. I do like, and we should clip that too, Pete, where he goes, it's Arizona, isn't it? And I go, the New England Patriots, and Chris goes, I knew it. That's a Chris. But it was one of 2 teams.
Well,
it was
I thought
2 teams.
It was one of those 2 teams. And as I said to start the show, I should have put Carolina in that conversation earlier today with Florio and all that, because that made sense. With the amount of money they had, the absolute need at the position for all 3 of those football teams, that's where I thought they would bid. And it sounds like, and I wouldn't be shocked here, if there was a little bit of a bidding war here at the last second.
Oh, sure.
I wonder what his first offer he got was. I wonder if it started the day at 22 or 23 million, and all of a sudden, here he is going, woo, baby.
How many teams want me?
It's 26 million now? I'll take it. Wow, so you think of them now, all right? Harold Landry on the edge. Spillane at middle linebacker. Christian Barrymore and Keon White inside, whooping ass. And now or Keon White on the outside and Milton Williams on the inside. Either way, that's where they're going to be able to do whatever they want with those 2, because those 2 can do both things. Right, so that makes a lot of sense. I like what New England's doing. I'm not shocked with that money, and then of course Vrabel.
They had so much to spend,
Vrabel,
right?
Elliott Wolf. They got a good eye for talent, and these are Vrabel type of guys. So really not surprised they got it done with Milton Williams.
I mean, that had to be part of the sell to Vrabel, too, because he was a coach with options. He could have gone, and it seemed like it was going to happen to the Patriots, go back there, Robert Kraft. But also, it's like, we're going to open up the pocketbook, and we're going to get some guys.
I think that's probably what it gets. Yeah, Vrabel, right?
And Gerard Mayo says, thanks for that, guys.
Yeah, seriously.
Could have used some of those guys.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much for spending all this money when I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, great signing by the New England Patriots. And yeah, I'm interested to hear that story, because that has the sound of he agreed with $23 or $24 million a year with some other team, and the Patriots swooped in and they were like, all right, we'll give you 26, and they were like, deal, you got it, see you later, other team. It feels like that.
Should wait for the Cardinals to come back now to beat that one. So, hey, stay tuned. That may not be
that
done.
hurts. Well, that hurts Carolina. You think about Carolina and what they could have had with him in the interior with Derek Brown and company, right?
That's bad for a Panthers fan. If you're listening to the replay of this and you didn't get them and how good it could have been.
I know, right. Sorry, Panthers
Maybe we should
fans.
take that part out just for the 3 fans from Carolina that are still remaining. We do have some Cowboy news.
Okay.
Pete has just put it in.
Whoa.
Long snapper Trent Sieg re-signs on a 3-year deal.
Man.
$3.1 million guaranteed.
Woo! The Super Bowl window is now open. It's open now. Yep, that did it right there.
So this is the second year in a row that Sieg has signed on the first day of free agency.
Hey, priorities.
You got to get one press release out to your fans on free agency day.
Jerry likes glory hole. He said that many times here, and this is a glory hole type signing right here.
So as we wait for more news to trickle in here, let's get your reaction to your boy Blue.
Giddy up, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen got a 6-year deal worth $330 million, $250 million guaranteed, most in NFL history. He had 4 years left on his deal, and they're like, you know what? Let's take you through your age 34 season and lock you up for multi-millions in cash.
Well, he was way underpaid. I mean, we know Josh Allen, it's no doubt, is one of the 4 best quarterbacks in football, as we've talked about it a million times here. There's 4 quarterbacks in football, and then there's everybody else right now. Those 4 stand alone, and he's one of them. And, of course, for that team up there in Buffalo, he's the MVP. It's not even close. He's special. We're watching an era right now, we know Mahomes and all that, but Lamar, Allen, Joe Burrow, they're all-time greats. They're as good as you're ever going to see at the position. We put the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl window every year, whether you like them or not, and I don't care. Even the people that don't like him, put him in the Super Bowl window because even though they might be a hater and don't like him, they know how good he is. He's special. He's a special player. And what was he on the hierarchy of before yesterday or this weekend with the new deal? I mean, I think he was like the 12th, 13th highest paid quarterback in the sport. So no-brainer. They knew he was underpaid. He had a special year. Now they get this on the books. They don't got to worry for a while. They can formulate their team going forward. They take care of their guy, the best player in the history of their franchise. I mean, that's how good Josh Allen is, in my opinion.
Whoa, beats out Thurman Thomas.
I know,
Bruce
or Jim
Smith?
Kelly or Bruce Smith. They're awesome. Yeah, I get it. I know they're Hall of
Bruce
Famers.
Smith fans are going to.
Bruce might be mad, and that would be the one that maybe. But Josh Allen is special, is my point. And glad to see him get the deal. And wow, like 6 years, $330.
If you're going to give it to a quarterback and they protect quarterbacks, I mean, maybe that's the one thing. He has been so durable just because he's so tough, right? He does play the position more violently than almost any other quarterback out there.
It's amazing that he stays healthy as he does. I'm amazed by it. I am. But I think
he's held up.
He's held up. He embodies everything they want up there, not only in the community, but in the locker room.
Yeah.
Right? Just like Mahomes or Joe Burrow, when you go there, you know who the king is, and they don't have to act like it, right? It's not like they're like, I'm the king, and they walk around like, I'm the king, move out of the way.
It's just like, hey, I'm the king. Yeah.
It's just everybody knows.
Nice
and when
to
they
meet
walk
you.
in the room,
I'm the king.
Yeah. Well, when they walk in the room too, you kind of always see everybody's eyes go there. They always kind of listen, like, what's he talking about over in the corner there? What's he, he's the man. So good for Josh Allen. Awesome deal. Now Buffalo. Like we talked, they got Gregory Rousseau deal done. That's nice. They cut Von Miller. We'll see where it goes. They still,
Amari Cooper, they made a trade for. He didn't really do anything.
I don't think
Maybe he was
I don't
hurt,
think he'll be back though. Right. So what will they do with the rest of their roster? Will they try to add another big-time defensive player to that side of the ball that they feel that can help them out? I'll be interested to see what they do.
DraftKings already has an over-under for Josh Allen next year. 27.5 passing touchdowns. He had 28 last season. Has cleared this in each of the last 5 seasons. So DraftKings, obviously,
I like it. I'd take the over right now.
It's always about injury, right? It's just like if you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get the. I feel like most of these prop bets are just like, are you gonna stay healthy all year? And
or his receivers got to stay healthy.
No, that's true too.
That's the big thing. But I look at it and go, Khalil Shakir, he's gonna continue to get better.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if Keon Coleman doesn't get better because he got better towards the end of the year. Dalton Kincaid will get better, right? So I look at that and go, hopefully they re-sign James Cook and get that figured out. But all in all, I think where they are with some of those young pieces and where they're going, I just think it's going upwards for them in that department. I would take the over right now.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting. New customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Just download the app. You hear me? Just download it. Download the app and use promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, so it seems like some of the news has started trickling here.
Starting to die down.
It's starting to die down.
One of the things
right
I
when we
found
end, it'll be a huge one.
Just that I found interesting that I thought was like kind of a duh one was Evan Ingram visiting the Broncos.
Okay.
They need a tight end. He knows how to use a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Ingram's a special pass-catching tight end. I'm actually a little surprised that Jacksonville got rid of him and didn't think about, keeping him, because I think he's still a mismatch and a nightmare as far as the pass game's concerned.
Yeah.
Right. And then this is a team and not only in Sean Payton that knows how to use him, but they need pass-catching weapons altogether. He would be a good start. Certainly interested to see where that goes.
So, yeah, a couple of the visits that are upcoming. Ingram to the Broncos, also reports that defensive tackle Jonathan Allen will visit with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
So that one's out there as well. So those are things to keep an eye on.
Who else? Who do we say earlier that Minnesota was the one that was getting involved with Milton Williams a little bit there at the end, or they were getting involved, right? But yep, too late, too little, too late. That's gone.
We do have a defensive tackle off the board. Poona Ford, former Seattle Seahawk, has agreed to a 3-year deal with the LA Rams.
Okay, that's a good signing, but they have a lot of F the play guys up, a lot of chaos guys. They need some guys that can hold their ground a little bit and go, wait, we need you to take on a double team. Don't let anybody move you so the rest of our guys can fly around and get the ball. That would definitely have been one of their weaknesses of their football team. I like that. They needed a run-stopping interior D lineman.
Yeah, it is reportedly for just under $30 million,
right.
And I am seeing
$10 million,
here.
$9 million a year. That's about right for Poona Ford.
Another Rams nugget. This one comes from Courtney Cronin on Twitter, I think this is. I'm hearing the Rams are closing in on adding center Coleman Shelton, who started 17 games for Chicago last year, spent the first 5 years of his career with Los Angeles.
Okay, so they're going to continue to upgrade their offensive line where they feel the need be. That's really where they've changed the last few years and become a different team. They've been able to protect Stafford, and they have a creative run game. And that's the biggest thing. McVay's run game went to another level when he got Mike LaFleur there. I know you've heard me say that. I don't know if I've said that on the mic here.
Yeah.
But Mike LaFleur, from all my understanding, had kind of the best understanding of the Shanahan run scheme and some of the tricks and keys there, right? So then he goes to the Jets, and then when he gets to the Rams, now he's giving McVay some of those secrets there. Yeah, and probably got his Shanahan's head's probably shaking just like yours, going, damn, Mike LaFleur's telling Sean McVay all my freaking run checks and all of that. But hey, you look at their offensive line, you add him there, you start to go, hey, Dotson at guard, Alaric Jackson at the one tackle, Avila at the other guard, Havenstein at tackle. Now you add the center. And you start to go, damn, that's a force they're going to have there in Los Angeles at the offensive line position.
You feel pretty good about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
We have a comment here from Seats O that says, you missed the Carlton Davis to the Patriots move. Seats O, we did not miss that.
No.
You missed the top of our show, Seats O.
You can't come in pointing fingers if you're not here for the whole time.
Can't do that.
Who said that? Who was that?
Seats O. Come on. I love this because normally we can't respond in real time to a commenter. Seatso, you got to take that back. Delete that comment. We did that.
I did say let alone a lot today. I know I did. Early on in the show, it was coming out of my mouth a lot. I got to stop that.
Hey, a day like this when things are flying, it's just chaotic.
Yeah.
You're going to go to crutches more than most.
I know,
I'm
but
give
I've been
you a
so
pass
good for
today.
like a week now. I can't believe I did it. I'm shocked.
Reports the Steelers are going to release their defensive tackle, Larry Ogunjobi.
Okay. They're going to release Larry Ogunjobi? What'd you say there? Say that again.
Yeah,
I was reading something.
They're going to release him.
All right.
Yeah. I know. We were laughing, having a good time, and then I just threw hard news right at you.
You really did. I was like, huh? Okay, so he's getting released. What else?
Yeah. Wow. Don't even want to comment on
Larry. No.
Let me.
I'm too busy looking at stuff that might be breaking, and then I'm trying to pull up their roster as I sit here and do this as well.
And by the way, Seatso has returned to the chat. Says, love the show, guys. Always watch.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
You're back in our good graces, Seatso.
All right, so I'm trying to make some sense of just what they're doing there in Pittsburgh. Ogunjobi, right, good player, not a huge difference maker. They got Keanu Benton. They got Cam Hayward. TJ Watt might want more money. That's being rumored out there.
Mm-hmm.
I would still think they're going to have to add somebody there as far as DN, big body that can play D tackle in certain situations or whatever else. Because Ogunjobi's listed as a DN, but in their defense, he's really a D tackle. The guys that play DN are Highsmith and TJ Watt, really. On maybe some first downs when they play a real 3-4, he plays 3-4 defense end. But as we know it, Ogunjobi's a D tackle. And, they're probably trying to orchestrate some things as far as Aaron Rodgers and who knows what else.
All right, you ready for the noise?
News? What team is it?
The Seattle Seahawks have their quarterback.
Sam Darnold.
Yes. 3-year deal. Reportedly, you want to take a guess? 3-year deal?
I saw it already. Damn it.
110.5 million, $55 million guaranteed.
Wow. 110. So okay. So they're. It's not crazy. It's not crazy, but that's okay. That's I guess I would have expected somewhere in that range. What are we talking about there total? What, 35 million, 36 million, somewhere in that? Really, right?
Yep.
Somewhere along there?
Yeah.
I would have had a hard time paying Sam Darnold $40 million. I didn't know if he'd quite get this. I didn't. And really, realistically, I mean, it's a 2-year, $55 million deal is what it is, where in the current status of things, I mean, they could draft a quarterback and say $55 million. So what? Every quarterback in football that's good is making that per year, right? So you're not tied to this here. And now, as we expected, and I tweeted this out on Friday night when we saw Geno. I mean, they didn't trade Geno away and just like, well, we have no idea who we're going to get a quarterback. Let's roll the dice. What do you think, guys? Hey, if it rolls on a 5, it's Jameis Winston. If it rolls a 4, it's Sam Darnold. No, they obviously had a clue of what Sam Darnold was asking, who was interested in him, and I think too with the options for Sam Darnold that are out there, just like we talked about with Aaron Rodgers. This is one of the better ones. Yeah. It is. Yeah, I know there's no Lockett and there's no DK Metcalf, but totality in the organization, right? Tennessee might be a new coaching staff next year. Cleveland, who the hell knows what's going to happen there? He doesn't want to go back to the New York area in general and just for anything. So that's not going to happen. What other team are we missing? I'm missing somebody else. But either way, I think when you look at our Pittsburgh, okay, and I don't think they showed interest in him.
Right.
So within this, he goes here. And, I think he's in a good spot with at least a coach that's stable, and we know that they're not trying to, fire anybody here after this year. It's not one of those type of seasons.
Sure. In keeping with tradition of this show, we are only going to mention who broke the story if they have a chance of actually being wrong. Shefty says it was $110 million. Ian Rappaport from NFL Media says nearly $100 million.
Okay.
So who knows?
Well, the tie goes to Shefty in my book. Sorry.
All right, we've already declared our winner here. Pete says go to Starbucks. We got to settle this at Starbucks to figure out.
Well, Jordan
who's got
Schultz
the right
might
number.
be there, so
That's
hold on.
true.
And in Seattle, so he definitely will be there.
Might as well.
You're screwed.
Sam Darnold, if you're a rebuilding team, right, and if you're the Seattle Seahawks, and I guess this is the way in the NFL, right? If you're rebuilding, you got to at least, there's always a chance. There's always a chance that something, a couple games go your way and you got enough talent. And then
yes, right. And I don't think this is like a total rebuild.
And it's not like it screws you for the future.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. You saw he could play good football, right? They're not like rebuilding like we might look at some other teams. They're like reallocating. That's what I kind of look at it. Going, hey, the team had been set up like this. We don't want it, and I don't want it set up like that. I'm Mike McDonald. I'd like it to be a little more set up through this lens, and I think they're just trying to get to that, right? Where we talked about the defense, improving the all-line. We're not going to make it about our receivers and passing the football. Yep. Mike McDonald's like, screw that. I want to run it up the middle like I just saw the Ravens and Derrick Henry do it. That's the kind of football I want to play, right? Chew up the clock.
Give me a Lamar Jackson clone.
Yeah, exactly, right. No problem there. Oops. Yeah, we'll find you. But and I would expect them, of course, at some point to get involved in the receiver conversation to add somebody with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I bet you they like Jake Bobo more than we realize. He has had moments, and then they'll find some other guys to kind of round out the roster and the position as they go forward here, and who knows, they'll probably draft a guy or two too.
Rigo Nunez on those lines says in our group chat, Sam Darnold just became the new Matt Flynn. Seattle going to draft Quinn Ewers or Jackson Dart, and Sam will not see a single snap.
I don't know about that. But there is that could happen. right? Where maybe with one of these second round picks or one of these extra picks they got from the Geno DK Metcalf, do they take a quarterback in the second round? And then it's Sam Darnold kind of living the life of what we just saw where he has to hold down the fort for a year. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be. But I don't know. This kind of feels more like they want to make it happen. They want to see if he played good football. He was the quarterback of a 14-3 football team. Let's not forget that. And I think they're a team and a GM that look at it too, like where they're not all about the quarterback. They're not like, oh, we got to have a superstar, or we can't win the football game. I think they're going to make it about the team. So I do give them a little bit more of a chance here. I don't think this is going to be, definite, we're going to draft and try to replace Sam Darnold. Again, there's going to be a lot of people in football who are going to watch the film and go, Sam Darnold's better than his physical skills are every bit as good or better than everybody in the draft except for Cam Ward.
Yeah.
And it's not a crazy thing to say. I have no problem saying that either. There's certainly some good conversations to be had in that department.
Like, the ceiling already with Sam Darnold a little bit, but there's value in that too.
Exactly. There is value. You saw that, and I think there's still more ceiling to kind of break through. Let's not hold him to such a strict standard where it's like, hey, he's played in one big game in his life and he didn't do awesome. Let's throw him off the freaking boat. Get him out of here. How dare he walk the plank, Sammy Darnold. Right? That's where it's not fair either. And I know you've heard me say too, with the last two games, I know everybody wants to blame Sam Darnold, but the playoff game was not Sam Darnold. They had no chance. They were out-coached, out-physical. They couldn't protect. Nobody was open. He didn't crap the bed like he did against the Lions in Week 18.
Yeah.
That was different, where he played bad in that one. The next week, though, he just didn't get a chance to show you that he rebounded and then he was going to play well because just the whole team fell apart. So let's not be too quick to judge all of that.
So what do you think about this strategy? Reportedly, the Seahawks offered a similar deal to Geno Smith, who turned it down.
Wow.
So then they go, hey, here's the deal. We're going to get a quarterback for this number. It's either you or Sam Darnold.
There had been talk that, Geno wanted too much. Geno wanted something north of 40. And I'm guessing that's where things change. I don't think Seattle was lying to the public or lying to me at the NFL Combine where they were kind of steadfast on Geno Smith. I don't. I think it got to a point where I think they thought, hey, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Hey, let's sit it down and get it done. Whoa, wait, you want that? I don't know if we want to do all of that. Right? I'm not sure we want to give you that and be committed to you for too long in the future. And I think that's where they had to pivot to a new plan, and luckily found Pete Carroll and Brady and everybody else. We're going, hey, we like Geno, and we're not too crazy about the draft guys. We'd rather have a guy that can play right now, and they make that move.
If you were the GM, who would you take, Geno or Sam, if the deal was similar?
Wow. If it was similar, apples to apples, I think I like Geno better.
You like,
yeah, but it's not. It's close. It's really close. I like Sam's age better.
Yeah.
Right? That's for sure. But, yeah, I would probably take Geno.
Okay.
I would. But that's tough. And it's one of those where it's so close. If you gave me an hour to think about it, I might change my mind in an hour, right? Where I'd go, wait, I thought about this, this, and this, and I don't like that. But good on the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm interested to see what they do with the rest of their football team.
Let me throw another deal at you.
Yeah.
Quarterback Nick Mullins, Jaguars, 2-year deal, $6.5 million, $3 million guaranteed.
Okay.
We don't need to talk long.
No, we don't need to, but good guy, good backup.
Good guy. Oh, no,
so, that's Mac
bad.
Jones. See you later. That's exactly what I thought of right away. Right?
Good guy. That's not good.
Well,
it's like, what do you think of that signing? He's a good guy.
Well, he is a good guy. I've heard that from people in San Francisco. I think he's a real good backup.
Yeah,
Nick Mullins.
I mean, he's broken records as a backup.
Right,
which is crazy.
Right. I mean, he did. Well, that's what I try to explain to people. A lot of the times when they talk about contracts for the 49ers, I go, did you used to see the graphics when Nick Mullins was starting for the 49ers?
Right.
He was like one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football through 12 starts, right? All of that. But, yeah, good for them. Trevor Lawrence, we've seen him get banged up. Leon Cohen is an offensive coach, of course, and he wants to have some insurance in case Trevor Lawrence goes down for a game or two.
Which is why one of those where you're like, Kyle Shanahan, why would you pay Brock Purdy $55 million? Nick Mullins did almost a facsimile of some of those numbers.
I mean, you know me and my thought, and yes, I mean, I wouldn't want to really leave the 40s for Brock Purdy. I would not. That's what I've said. I've said it to people out in San Francisco. But from what you hear with reports and some of the things Florio said, it sounds like it's getting up there in the 40s. So I don't know. Maybe it is going to get to the 50s when it's all said and done.
We've got a report. Darius Slay reportedly off the board.
Wow, staying in state.
Staying in state, going from Philadelphia to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I certainly like that for Pittsburgh. Man, Pittsburgh making some moves here. Definitely going to improve their football team. It's like Pittsburgh last few years has definitely got into playing more man-to-man than they used to. And they've become pretty good at it. And they put pressure on their guys. And, Darius Slay could still go. He's got size. He could still run. You put him and Joey Porter on the outside, I like that combination there. And then they got to figure out what they're going to do with some of these free agents they got in their secondary, because they got Dante Jackson, who could play nickel if they re-signed him and they can move him in there. Cameron Sutton, as we know, they like him and took a chance on him. Will they bring him back? I don't know where they'll go there, but I certainly like Darius Slay coupled with Joey Porter Jr.
So as we're nearing the kind of the end-ish of the pod, you just talked about the Steelers, in the conversation for very improved. Who knows what they'll do at quarterback? Who else would you put in there? Bears, with what they've done on the offensive line.
Definitely. The Steelers. How do you not look at the Steelers and what they just the DK Metcalf trade itself changes the dynamic of their football team.
But no one is beating the Patriots.
I don't think so. Right? Have we added any more people to that list? Patriots?
Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis.
That's phenomenal.
That's a very good day. No one's beating the Patriots.
Nobody's beating them.
Patriots.
Now, what do they do next? The next thing you got to think is receiver, getting more people around Drake May. I thought they would be one of the teams that get involved in DK Metcalf. I don't have any knowledge yet to know if they did or didn't get involved or how heavily involved they were, but certainly one of the teams that, like, when I heard he wanted to be traded or there was those rumors, I went, oh, the Patriots, like, that seems like he'd be Mike Vrabel's cup of tea. I mean, he's a lot like A.J. Brown, who he had in Tennessee the first time around. So, yeah, I think as I sit here right now, it's Patriots win, Bears win, Steelers probably third off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the top three teams I look at.
And the Lions with DJ Reed, a guy that you liked a lot. I think right there fourth. It fills a need for them.
I do like that. I do like that. Just barely beating out the Giants with Paulson Adebo.
So who are the other guys that we're waiting for here?
Well,
who else are we a little surprised maybe is still out there? I mean, obviously some of the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields.
Yeah, Rodgers, Justin Fields. Running backs, I mean, there's Najee Harris, I think, is really the only household name we're talking about there. I think if we get into receivers, the biggest, Stephon Diggs and Amari Cooper are probably the biggest names. I think Darius Slayton's going to be one of the, I think, hidden gems at receiver of this free agency for reasons you've heard me talk about before, right? And then even De'Ami Brown. What happens with him? That'll be interesting.
What about Javon Holland?
Javon Holland, I like his game.
Safety.
Yes. I mean, where I feel like it's going to be weird for him is he didn't have as great a year last year, and he's going to want top of the market money, and he's going to go, wait, go back to my other years. Look how awesome they were, right? And they're going to be amazing, but at the same time, teams are going to go, wait, you didn't play your best last year, right? So that's one. Josh Sweat's in my ear, definitely.
Joey Bosa seems close to 49ers.
I think when he got released, I went, oh, he's going to go to the 49ers. That just seems like a 49er move. They seem like the Bosa brothers. He'd be like, I want to go hang with my brother. I'll take a little less to hang with him. We'll lift some weights. We'll eat some steak, and we'll go do that.
That's not a super unflattering impression, I don't think.
No, but it's kind of how he talks, and I like the Bosa boys, so they know that.
Charvarius Ward, a 49er.
Charvarius Ward still got some game left in him. Byron Murphy, good nickel corner, can do a little bit of all. Jawan Johnson, I think I told you about him the other day, the tight end.
Oh, tight end, yes.
Yeah, I think he's one that can be, kind of a steal for somebody.
Dre Greenlaw, Rasul Douglas. But, Greenlaw is like one.
Greenlaw is a guy where I'll be interested to see what the market does, because no one's going to feel good about his health status totally. But they're going to turn on film before he got hurt in the Super Bowl and go, oh, my God, he's one of the best linebackers in football. He's awesome. But I doubt he's going to get the offer he wants. So is that going to lead him to going back to the 49ers on a one-year deal, something like that, right? Or a one-year deal somewhere else to where maybe they could steal him for the 49ers and they just throw a little bit more money at him for that year. But I feel like it'll be something like that with Dre Greenlaw, because I think for the long-term deal, he's going to be like, what? I don't want that. I'm better than Fred Warner. Right? He's going to think that, and he's just not going to like what I think's offered to him.
I mean, that is the crazy thing about the NFL. The money dries up fast. Right? It's just like you watch the baseball offseason, it goes for months. It goes into spring training. If you don't get a deal in the first week in the NFL, you're in trouble.
That's where teams that drag their feet sometimes, they put themselves in a bad spot when it gets into all of a sudden we're in training camp and it's like, damn, well, we spent here and here and I thought we had this to give him and now we got to finagle a few things to get this done.
Yeah.
Or the opposite of like, hey, the team offered you this and you said no and you kept saying no and now they signed somebody else and they signed somebody else and now it's a month later and the player goes, hey, I'll take that offer, and they go, how about we give you less because we don't have that now. We gave it to this guy and that guy and you dragged your feet and now we don't have the same amount of cash to give you. So that's always a thing that goes down. The last thing we didn't really hit on, just real quick, that I think has to be hit on, Myles Garrett getting $40+ million.
So we didn't hit on that. So that'll be the end. Unless there's some major breaking news. Let's end with this.
Yes. Okay.
Myles Garrett doesn't care about winning anymore, apparently. He has thrown that away, and he is now staying with the Browns. What was it, $40 million a year now? 123.5 in guaranteed money, no trade clause. The deal comes 2 days after a report that Jimmy Haslam wouldn't even talk to him, so I was like, well, that's over. He's not going back there. A total, like, Uno reverse card here. How did this happen?
Well, it just shows you the power the team has, the owner has over players, right? There's nothing that he can look at in the team and go, well, they did this. Everything's changed now. And now I see the future, right? So
I see the future, and there's $123.5 million.
Like my kids were set up for life. Now my grandkids and my great-grandkids are. Oh, yeah, I do like it in Cleveland. Cleveland's a great place to be at. Sure. Yeah. Right. It just shows you the power teams and organizations have. But bargaining power.
Yes, they had power, but they also paid him $5 million more than any other non-quarterback.
Yes,
in the NFL.
I'm sure they had a good feel of like what Micah Parsons is probably going to get and Jamar Chase. So he's probably aware of that. Let alone, they're paying a little bit extra to go, we addressed none of your concerns that you had in our end-of-the-year meeting where we told you a plan for the future.
Yeah.
But so we're going to pay you a little bit more than maybe we should or extra just because we want you to – you're an awesome football player. We drafted you. You're a staple here. We want you to be happy in the locker room. We don't want you talking crap about us and telling us how crappy everything is. But here's my 2 cents with this. Why? What is Cleveland doing? Like I said this to Forio this morning. I'll say it again. Why? What the hell? What's the future? You get 24 sacks from Myles Garrett over the next 2 or 3 years, and so what? So you're last in the AFC North?
If you're the Browns, you'd have taken this opportunity to rebuild the team.
Yes. Like there's nothing on the team right now to look at it and go, oh, that unit. Oh, that unit. Oh, the all lines getting older.
Yep.
And going by the wayside. Nick Chubb, that's over. We got Jerry Jeudy at receiver. We got Cedric Wilson at the other receiver. Defensive line, we got issues. We need D-tackle help. We're old at the other DN. Denzel Ward is at the, plateau or somewhere part of his career, right? We got Emerson, who's a good player. Okay, he's in the prime. Owusu-Koramoah's in the prime. But other than that, we got a quarterback situation that is by far the worst in football. So, for me, if I'm running the Cleveland Browns here, I just go, yes, sir, we're going to try to trade Myles Garrett, see what we can get back from him, and see if we can quickly rebuild this football team. That's what I don't understand. I don't know if, like, the Saquon Barkley thing scared them, and they were just like, we're not letting a good player out of the building, right? This one's different. And this is a guy that I think commanded a huge price tag and assets for their football team. So that's where I don't get necessarily re-signing Myles Garrett. I don't get it.
Yeah, I get it for Myles Garrett.
I do too.
And I don't begrudge him for taking
the
deal here
I
too.
Don't either.
And it's not like the Browns don't want to win either. Clearly they think they still can, which is why they do this deal. And so they obviously convince themselves they can win and convince Myles Garrett that they're trying to do just that.
I don't know what they're convincing themselves of here totally. I really don't. I don't know if it's like one of the coaches is like, hey, you can't just totally let the cupboard get dry here. We got no chance. or if it's the owner just being stubborn and I'm just like, I'm not going to let some guy call the shots.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is exactly, but it's a team that's got a laundry list of spots to fill on their football team, and they look like they're going in the wrong direction as compared to the Baltimore Ravens and even the Steelers as it looks right now, and other teams in the AFC, to where you just go, I don't know where they're going to gain ground.
Knew it would happen. We got more breaking news,
of course,
to talk about here as I'm falling apart at the end of the podcast, but I will gut it out, and we will get to the finish line.
You're a lion, man. You got to tough it out, man.
Justin Fields, the grit to get to the finish line. Justin Fields and the Jets, 2-year deal, reportedly $40 million, $30 million guaranteed.
Okay, so 2-year, $40 million deal. Probably can get out after one if it doesn't work right? That's what that deal is. I like it. Okay, Justin Fields is capable of being a starter. I think the way they're going to play football here, they're going to play defense, they're going to run the ball, they're going to ask him to run the ball. They're going to play that. Hopefully he can make some plays scrambling, and then they're going to hope he can improve as a passer. That's what we want here. But that's, I think, a good deal for the Jets, for a team that's kind of stuck in limbo as far as what they want to do and where the future of the team is going, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Justin Fields allows them to hold down the fort a little bit.
And
here.
what I will say, too, and I like this, it has the potential to be a very cool story.
It does.
Right?
It definitely does.
Justin Fields takes the next step in his career.
Right.
And takes
in a place that can't get a quarterback ever to work, and he worked here with a defensive coach named Aaron Glenn, who came from Detroit. Right, and they took another shot with a first-time hire. It would be a cool story, and I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I am. Justin Fields is one of those guys. I think he's tough. He's shown some grit. He shows he continues to want to work hard. He puts it all on the line when he goes out there and plays. I got respect for his game.
So here it is. I got a note here from Bjornar Hovland that said, Ambit is stuck. There will always be breaking news, buddy. You're right. We're not getting out of here. From now until ever, we will be doing a live stream. It's like they have those live streamers that sleep and do the live stream on Twitch. You see those guys?
Yes.
Make a bunch of money. We're going to do that. We have no choice at this point. So now this almost makes it like Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. That has to happen at this point, right? Because it was like there was discussion whether Fields was going to be the guy in Pittsburgh. It has to happen.
I would think so. I mean, I just look at the current landscape and go, the Raiders are gone. That's gone. Seattle's gone. When you look at it and break it down, you go, wait, Aaron Rodgers could go to the Giants, the Titans, the Browns, or the Steelers right now. And I think clearly the Steelers are the best choice of all those four football teams.
Yeah. Samaje Perine, a running back in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, have agreed to a 3-year deal, reportedly for $22 million.
I'm a little surprised by that, just because they have Bucky Irvin, they have Rashad White, and they have Sean Tucker. I would argue they have the three best. They have maybe the best 3 running backs in football in one team.
I would imagine. I don't know what Rashad White's deal is, though.
Yeah,
I would almost think
you're right,
they might move on. No, I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would feel
surprised.
like all 4 would not be there, and Tucker and Bucky Irvin are definitely going to be there.
I would agree. That to me is a little odd. It almost makes me think like, is something going on with Rashad White? Is he sitting there going, I don't want to be the backup. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Trade me. Is that what they're doing there? But yeah, that's a little surprising.
That seems a little strange.
It does. And again, Perine's third down back. He's very good in that department. You do want to trust him there. That's where his value is.
But I feel like Bucky could be that guy.
Same with Sean Tucker.
And right.
Right.
Cam Bynum, the safety, and the Colts have agreed to a 4-year deal.
Okay.
Reportedly $60 million.
Yeah, well, he's a good football player. And you talk about this is a team in like the Colts with Lou Anarumo, who we've seen, they do a lot on defense. They do a lot. That's why Lou Anarumo was so famous a few years ago with Cincinnati Bengals and Jesse Bates and everybody, because of the trickeration and the creativity they show on the side of the ball. So safety's important for them. So I get that. And yeah, Cam Bynum, he's damn good, especially in coverage. He's one of the better free safeties out there.
Pete reminds us he did the ray gun dance.
Is that which one he did?
And so the Colts end zone celebration game just got a huge boost with Cam Bynum. Also another safety off the board. Reports are the Jaguars have agreed to a 3-year deal with Eric Murray, $22.5 million, $12 million guaranteed.
All right, so they're getting after their secondary here. And with Eric Murray being signed there, that makes me think that they're not going to sign Andre Sisco back, who's a free agent. That's what would make me think, connecting dots, because they traded for Darnell Savage and got him from Green Bay. What was that, last year at the start of the year? Tyson Campbell, they've paid money to. They just paid Jourdan Lewis that we've talked about.
Right.
Now you sign Murray. Sisco's a free agent. I would think that maybe he's priced himself out of the football team or whatever. That would not bode well for his return there back in Jacksonville.
Okay, all right. We need to end
You're
it.
You're going to try to get it now? You can try to get it done now?
How long have we gone? Have we almost gone 2 hours? I don't think we have gone 2 hours before.
We're hour and 48.
An hour 48.
We started right at 1. It's 2:48 right now.
We took no breaks. You took no breaks. I give you kudos for that all the time.
You were worried if I could pull it off. I mean, last night you were texting me like I didn't know who I was going to be talking about tomorrow. Like I wouldn't be able to break down these players.
It was going to be very light, right? Everyone was re-signing with their teams.
I know.
It was like, are we going to have free agents to talk about?
It did seem like the lead up to free agency was the most aggressive I can remember. Yeah. I don't remember 3 or 4 days before it where trades, signing, guys we thought were going to be free agents end up getting a deal, whatever. There was a lot that went down over the last 3 or 4 days.
Angry Salt Shaker says, you guys did a great job. Definitely should do it live more often. I do like the energy of the live.
I always love it. I mean, I don't want to jump the shark or anything like that, which I'm being made fun of there, or let alone I don't want to jump the shark when I do that, okay? So I'm reading between the tea leaves, and we'll figure out how to do this at some point.
So here we go. We got some comments from our YouTube friends that we have compiled over the last couple days, and that is what is that? Bucks Diary fan says, a drinking game. We could definitely have a drinking game for this show. Whenever he says let alone before making a point, every time he uses a cliche or idiom but says it backwards or incorrectly. There's so many different things that we could do with this. But I like the comment there from Ashway that says number 2, it's called a Simmsism, right? It's not a cliche or an idiom. It's a Simmsism.
It's a Simmsism, right. And I like it when he goes, whenever he imagines a conversation that never happens, and he does all the voices in the conversation himself.
Yeah.
You drink. Yeah. I do that at times. You're right. Yeah, sorry.
If you're ever doing that with your voices, it's not going to be a flattering voice. That's why I hope you never have to do that with me and be like one time I did a podcast with this guy, Ahmed. Oh, hey, what's going on here? What are we talking about? That was my voice, unfortunately.
We had some good ones. I see one here by @SickBoy. He goes, I love Chris, but man, it's not by all due accounts. It's either by all accounts or all due respect. Well, I'm famous for this.
Yes.
Okay, @SickBoy. Well, then I guess he realizes it. He writes that the fact that he mixes them up drives me crazy, but also it's on brand, and I kind of love it. Yes, those are what we call Simmsisms.
Yep.
Yes, they are that. I don't know why in my brain I continue to combine them. I don't mean to. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you can get a chuckle off of my dumbness there.
Mehmet 305, you are family after watching 700 episodes, and Squeezy 85, 700 is crazy. 90 minutes, that's 63,000 total minutes, over 1,000 total hours. That's be like podcast streaming live for 43 consecutive days, which it feels like we might do at this point because there is news out there with the Bears 3-year deal. Defensive end, that's Dayo Odeyingbo.
Odiengbo.
Pete's the only one saying it correctly.
He was a top 5 in our draft rankings a few years ago.
Pete's the only one saying it correctly, and his voice is not on the podcast. What is it, Pete? Odengbo. Odengbo.
I feel like that's still not right, but we'll go with it. But either
3
way,
years, $48 million, $32 million guaranteed.
He was a guy that I brought up with Connor on Wednesday when you didn't show up for work.
Sorry about that.
About a guy that could be an under-the-radar game changer for a football team.
Okay.
Much better football player than people realize. Has had a few injuries, but another guy that can play DN, can play D tackle. He's just a good defensive lineman. He can do everything on the defensive line other than play like shade nose, right? That's where it's good. And I think ultimately, they're going to have him on the outside. I think in run situations, he'll be opposite of Montez Sweat. And then maybe in passing situations, he kicks inside. Andrew Billings comes out, and now you got him, Sweat, right? Jervon Dexter, and maybe Austin Booker or Darrell Taylor coming off the edge. Something along those lines, but makes a lot of sense, I think, for what they want to do in Chicago on that side of the ball.
Dayo Odeyingbo. Dayo Odeyingbo.
Okay.
Is his name. Yeah. Although he's making $32 million guaranteed, he doesn't care how we say his name. At this point, that does not concerning him. All right. So I think that will be it. Thanks to all the live commenters that we talked to here on YouTube. We'll do this again next year.
They'll do it again next year. We'll react on Wednesday. More stuff will come out. We'll break that down. The new looks of these football teams. You can find me on PFD Tuesday morning. But as it looks right now, Patriots and
Steelers
and Steelers and the Bears. The Patriots and the Bears are winning free agency right now. I mean, Dio Odangbo.
No.
Okay, I said it. I said it right.
Oh, Dio.
I like that signing. Damn, I do. Dennis Allen. He's got a little Cam Jordan-ish to his game, right? That's what I mean. It's big, it's physical, it's athletic, right? I like it. I like it a lot. But you know where to find us. Amon and I will not be back on Wednesday. He's leaving me once again. Connor will be here. He's cheating on me with college hoops. Screw you and your college
conference
hoops.
tournaments.
Okay,
huge
you're right.
Deal,
That's
huge
worthy.
Deal.
Okay, I plan on trying to go to the Big East tournament this weekend too. Everybody be good out there. Keep paying attention to the news. You know where to find me on social media. Thanks for tuning into the YouTube page. We enjoy doing this. Be good out there. Peace out. Clap it up.
Alive, clap it up. Alive, clap it up.